Good night, everybody. Welcome to the Real Talk Show. Unika in the house with us. Yeah, I don't know if Unika can hear
Am
me.
I?
Could you hear me?
Oh, yes. Hi, good night.
Uh,
everyone.
Yeah.
yeah, you're lagging up. That's all right, man. You're lagging up.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, awesome.
I am. I'm logging for Drew.
Well, I don't know if it's me or
No,
Mark and
I'm
Eva.
asking for
Is
real.
Unika
Am
lag?
I still?
No, I don't know.
I think, well, just now she did, but now you seem
I
fine.
am.
Yeah.
And you
Okay.
Yeah.
seem
So tell
Okay.
Chrissy and Cohen to come off
Good
the
night.
internet and Alberto and yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Good night,
tonight we're
everyone.
gonna
Good
have a
night. Good night.
awesome night. This you all finally seen her face in our little glasses and thing here. And then we have Eva and Mark in the house,
Yeah.
the Ned family.
Yes. Good night, everybody.
good night, Facebook, good night, YouTube. Welcome back, guys. Everybody, pick up this. Kyle, you create this phrase, this WhatsApp internet phrase. Everybody does it now. True as always. Says this on services. Anyway, good night, guys. Welcome back to the Real Talk Show, and we are here for yet another awesome show. Guys, tonight we have a very interesting topic. It's very current, I must say, with everything that's going on now in the country, in the world. So make sure and begin sharing to everyone you know. Sorry. We want to hear what you all think as well as usual. This is a forum where you could interact with us, and we. So basically, if you're here for the first time, this is what we do, right? We have a talk show, and you are able to share your point of view. Maybe you have a question, maybe you have your own interpretation or whatever, your own opinion. You're free to share. We are here to answer any questions, and that's basically the forum, all right, guys? So begin to message. Let us know that you're watching. Let us know maybe where you're watching from. And of course, for those of you who are new here again, once you message us, you could qualify to win a giveaway, all right? So seeing that we're here and we're online, you could qualify to win one of our giveaways, which is Amazon voucher. So all you have to do is comment to win one of those giveaways, all right? And we also, of course, encourage all of you to share to all of your friends. Of course, I'm gonna read the topic now. I'm going to read the post that we have on our Facebook page, and maybe when you hear it, you will think of somebody who you think it could help or it could bless, or somebody who will be interested in hearing what is being said. So feel free to share at that point as well, all right? So I'm going to just read from the page now. So it says, "What a scary world we live in now. With each passing day, it is increasingly apparent that more and more of our rights are being stripped away, not overtly, but instead through underlying threats and manipulation. One of the days, it would seem, where each individual had the right to make their own informed decisions, inclusive of, but not limited to, health decisions. Amidst the current crisis, have you felt like your back is against the wall, or as though you no longer have the freedom to make your own choice?" So, guys, this is our topic tonight. Our topic is entitled "Please Don't Take Away Our Freedom." All right, so that's what we're talking about tonight. We're gonna share some videos with you, some really interesting stuff. We want to hear what you think. We want to hear what your point of view is. Maybe you might have a question for one of the panelists at some point. Feel free to ask it, because that's what I'm here for. All right, and we also just want to hear what you all have to say. All right, so begin to comment. Let me know where you're viewing from. And begin to share like crazy, right? Because of course we also see when you all share, and all of those things will qualify you to win one of our giveaways, all right? So I'm not going to keep you all any longer. We're going to get into the good stuff by going to Kyle, all right, guys? So begin to share, begin to comment. We want to hear from all of you.
Hey,
And good night.
awesome stuff. Eva, hey, thanks everybody for joining the stream. Encourage you to share it with somebody. Tonight we're talking about our freedom within this whole situation dealing with, I guess, COVID and this pandemic. We know that there's a vaccine on the loose. Well, vaccines on the loose, and we know there are a lot of opinions. We know we know there's a lot of different things happening on the face of the earth. And sometimes one of the things the Bible tells us is obviously to watch and pray, because there are different things going to happen in the end. So what this basically part of the show is we're not talking about our freedom and the aspects of what side is it really we fighting for our freedom. Also, while watching what we really looking at really unfolding, manifesting before our face, right? If there is something happening, Unika. Oh, I would like to open up, because we're talking specifically about, like, our rights when it comes to if it is we should or we shouldn't take the vaccine, right? And we have one or two people. So all the people, when we have maybe one or two guests who are gonna come on the show, and they work from certain companies. And I would like to ask specifically if there's anybody who's watched Radio Talk and you would like to come on and maybe you have a company and you have like employees on there and you would like to come on and just share in a brief your summary of what it is you think or maybe what you told your workers. Maybe you could come on your show and you can message us and let us know and we would send you a video link to come on your show and you can share the stream while it's going on, right? So if there's somebody who is watching and you do own a business or you have staff on there in that kind of way and you would like to share, express your opinion on it, we would like to hear from you, right? So Nika, at the start of the show, one of the things that stir up all of these different things we see in Paris, we see different places, people fighting for their rights that they don't have to be, it's not mandatory that they have to take a vaccine. Where's your first thoughts when you hear about this whole thing?
Yeah, it's a difficult thing, I think, for any human being to feel like you're being backed against a wall and you're faced with no choice or you're given no choice but to do something. I know for me, I don't like being bullied. I don't like being backed against a wall. I don't know if it's like a little rebellion or something, but every time it's trying to do me that, yeah, I will go the opposite way just because I'm feeling, like if you're giving me no choice kind of thing, but nobody likes that feeling, right? To be bullied.
Yeah.
That to me is how it seems because I guess we're gonna be showing it tonight. We have some video clips of some interesting conversations between employers and employees.
Yeah.
And okay, I want to be fair. I don't want to just because to be honest, I'm not on one side and against another. That's certainly not. I want to be fair, right? And I certainly understand an employer encouraging their employees to be vaccinated for the safety of everybody in the company, and especially if they're dealing with customers, right? And you think that the vaccine is the way to protect. And I mean, a lot of the statistics have been showing that most of the people who are succumbing to the virus, actually dying, are not vaccinated now, right?
Right.
In some cases, and in some cases the opposite, right? But very little. Excuse me. So if you're looking at it from that point of view, I could see where an employer would want, just for peace of mind and for also for things to continue operating, because remember, think about them, their businesses being closed down for so long, and the government of Trinidad did say that vaccinate to operate, that's the way we're going, right? And so a lot of these employers, they're thinking, well, I don't want my company to be shut down again. And so if it means that the government would say, okay, you can remain open because let's say 95% of your employees are vaccinated, so you're safe. So I mean, we're not there yet, but I'm just thinking, for them, I'm thinking that could be like a safety net for them to think, well, all right, are we in the clear because my employees vaccinated, so the prime minister can't tell me nothing, or whoever, can't stop me from operating because everybody in my company is vaccinated, right? And I understand that. But the other side of it is that people, the long and short of it is people do have a choice whether they want this vaccine in their body. And if you are telling me it's for my health and it's to save my life, it's still my choice. If you know what I mean, it's still my choice. But I heard somebody say today, I've been looking at so many different news reports, that it's no longer your individual choice because you not being vaccinated can affect the wider population. So your choice is affecting somebody else's choice to live.
Right.
But then, I don't want to go into
I think somebody commented on the Real Talk post, I think saying something along that line.
Yeah.
I
so
think
it's
so.
no
I could be wrong.
longer. Yeah. So you saying it's your personal choice and not getting vaccinated is selfish because you can infect someone, and so that's how it goes. But what I don't like is the fact that the separation as well. I've heard people who are vaccinated, employees, even people actually calling the unvaccinated names. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they're calling them uneducated, uninformed, foolish people, selfish people. Some going to the point of wicked. You know what I mean? And it's sort of causing like a division now. All of a sudden, the vaccinated and not. It's like you have the privileged and the unprivileged. You have those who free to
Yeah.
go do what they want, and you have that's how it feels now. You know,
Yeah, well,
so that
I
has
particularly felt that way the other day when I was by a traffic light and the light turned green and a man break through the red light. So I put on the glass and I say, wow, you vaccinated or? Because, you just feel like, bad dry. I just joking.
oh my God.
I just
Okay,
joking. None of that happened. But
let's
no,
not
it's a
profess.
real thing. It's a real thing that, you see in media and even see in comment sections that people actually trying to wage a war against each other. But
Yeah, it's causing
you're saying that, but
segregation.
actually a lot of stats showing that people who actually have the vaccine still spreading the virus though.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
but I
even
mean,
if it is, yeah, so even if it is you
there's
do
no
get the
doubt on the
vaccine.
virus.
Uh-huh.
Yes, you can still get the virus, you can still spread it, but very few
Hmm.
people are dying if they're fully
I know,
vaccinated.
no.
That's
Well,
what.
like when it is, no, like when companies say that they're trying to protect the people who come into their
Oh,
company,
right.
it
Yes,
is there
understood.
is the
Yeah,
people who come into the company is them if they're vaccinated or not. You understand? They should to operate in the
right.
public or any kind of thing like that. They should be decide if they want to go and take the vaccine. Because if I go into a
Yeah,
company and whether they're vaccinated or not, I still at risk of getting the virus. At least that's what they
yeah,
start
correct.
showing. You understand?
Yeah,
So even if it is not going to the company, I say I'm vaccinated or not, I still could get. So it's not necessary on the employees. If you understand me from that they
yeah.
should is I think is just a little common sense, but I don't understand. Anyhow, we have one video. Which one you want to go to first? The one and the Fox video or the local video?
Let's do the Fox because it sort
All
of
right.
will yeah.
Yeah, all right. So Professor, you can throw up the tonight you have a professor because we talk about vaccines and different things, and they're gonna throw up a little video first in the back end. You throw up that first video from the Fox media.
Yeah, but how you pronouncing the words, huh?
Yeah, to make sure. Professor. Anyhow, while the professor finds that video, I don't know if they Mark you getting any pressure in your job to take the vaccine. I don't know if you are vaccinated. I
Mark,
don't
Mark, no pressure.
know.
Well, I wouldn't state where I am employed, but
No, that
it
was saying,
is,
you know what that was saying.
yeah,
I said just from where you're working. That was to see where you're working.
yeah. I employed many places, and we'll put it that way to make it that much more smoke. But it is a requirement actually. You won't be allowed to be part of that team unless you have that particular vaccine in your system.
Okay,
So,
okay, okay, okay.
but I had
Interesting.
already made the choice based on my research that I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to have the vaccine. So
Mm-hmm.
I am fully vaccinated, and
So you got
So
shot?
you're among the privileged.
well, I guess if you want to call it that, I got my last dose this week. I got the sign of I didn't really have much didn't have
So
much
right. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Neva, you getting forced? Was you getting forced to take the vaccine? She getting quiet. She getting quiet.
No. I would say maybe you're not being forced, but you are in a technical way. So there's a lot of
we be strongly encouraged.
yeah. And
Hmm.
one thing that I don't really understand is I'm not only in the organization that I work with, which isn't clear which isn't clear yet, like you have to do this. But I know this was mentioned within certain food places, I believe, or if not all food places, that if staff members are not vaccinated, they have to do a PCR test. But
Every
my
2 weeks.
every 2 weeks or every however long, however often. But my question with that is, okay, but if it's that way, shouldn't everybody then present a PCR test? Because isn't the vaccinated and the unvaccinated,
Yeah.
can they still both
Yes.
still get COVID?
And
So why is it that
yes,
only the unvaccinated person, have to do PCR test? I don't understand it.
Well, I
I don't
think
understand.
I think the reason they're doing that because it kind of don't make sense. Both the vaccinated and unvaccinated could get the virus and spread it. It's
Right.
just like if you're vaccinated, you have a defense against it. Your symptoms may not be as bad. But what
Yeah,
they're
but
saying is that the variants could develop for the unvaccinated. That's what they're saying. The unvaccinated.
it doesn't matter. If as a vaccinated person and an unvaccinated person you can get the virus, those things are no longer relevant.
But what they're saying is
I would
that
assume the purpose
where,
of
where
that
you
is
heard that, Mom?
well, I hear that on
news.
on news on international news.
Are you hearing that on social media?
There's all kind of conspiracy theories on social media as well, and also
Oh,
what they
okay,
say
okay.
is that the deadly Delta variant is in Trinidad. Rowley said that they lock it down at the borders, but you can't tell if anybody has it, and that is something they're
Anybody
really
got
scared
to
about
without
as
them
well.
detecting it. Yeah. But the video we're gonna
But
show actually gonna the
but how that
statement Mark
possible
made
though?
there.
How
Well,
that
Oh,
possible?
because they
Let
could
them know
have
somebody had the Delta.
people came in
they
the
test they
country.
I know they couldn't do that with a strong lab test. You can't just go and test like COVID, the normal COVID test. You can tell if it is what strain you have. You had to actually go and do a serious medical, like check the actual vaccine to know the strain of the virus to know. So yeah, if you go right now by West Shore or whatever, and they just do a vaccine a test on you, they can't tell you if you're a Delta or not. So you
No.
actually had to do an in-depth test to know well what strain of the virus you have. But yes, Professor, do we have the video up? I don't know if I don't know if they want me to say a different name or something. Hey, we ready? There you go ahead.
So you got the COVID vaccine because they told you to get it or they forced you to get it. Because as Joe Biden himself explained, it was your patriotic duty to get it, to protect yourself and protect others. Good people do that. And the only way we can stop the spread of this virus and return to normal life is by taking the vaccines. If you get the shot, you can have hot dogs on the 4th of July. Remember when he told you that? So you got the shot. And now, surprise, surprise, they are demanding that even after you got the shot, you wear a mask again, even when you're outside. What's going on here? Why are they saying this? There's got to be some reason for it. We've been wondering all week. So yesterday we asked the CDC to explain the reasoning behind it. They couldn't tell us. Today they did. What an explanation. It turns out that the COVID vaccines, those wonder drugs that were absolutely perfect, that were more impressive than the moon landing, the drugs you were not allowed to question in any way, don't actually work in the way they told us they did. The science is more complicated than we thought. There's still an awful lot we don't know. These are, after all, experimental drugs, and they're behaving like it. The bottom line is that a huge number of vaccinated people are getting COVID, and some of them are getting very sick, even dying. That's true around the world. It's true in Iceland, Gibraltar, Israel, in small countries with high vaccination rates that have seen big spikes in COVID cases. And it's every bit as true here in the United States. According to the CDC today, fully 3/4 of the people infected in a recent outbreak, for example, in Massachusetts, had already been vaccinated. The CDC announced that vaccinated people can carry the virus with them and they can easily spread the virus to others. As the CDC conceded, quote, breakthrough infections may be as transmissible as unvaccinated cases. Okay, so now we learned that virtually everything they told us about the COVID vaccine was wrong. Looks like we were right to keep asking questions. Keep in mind that if you had written any of what we just said on Facebook yesterday, you would have been censored immediately for misinformation, if not for a hate crime. And yet now, that's the official finding of the US government. Surprised? You shouldn't be surprised because science can be like that. It changes quickly. It is never everything they can to convince you that emergency measures are absolutely necessary and that anyone who doesn't obey is a traitor to the country. Civil rights should be suspended in the case of COVID. They're lying to make that point. In Kansas City, for example, the NBC affiliate KSHB posted this report this week, and it scared the crap out of people. Why wouldn't it? Here's what it said, quote, Children's Mercy Hospital is operating to capacity, not only because of COVID-19 cases among youths who aren't eligible to be vaccinated, but also due to ending mask policies. That was the report. Oh, wow, really? When you get rid of mask policies and when you don't make 3-year-olds get the vaccine, your hospitals fill up and millions die. The ICUs are flooded again, all because children and people who won't wear their masks because they believe in QAnon or they're racists. That's what they're telling you. And not just in Kansas City, everywhere. But is it true? Well, in this case, it's not true. Children's Mercy Hospital said it had no idea what the local news media were talking about. Quote, "We continue to be able to meet the needs of our patients requiring hospitalization," the hospital wrote in a statement. "The increase in children we're treating as inpatients is mainly due to respiratory illnesses that are not related to COVID." So in other words, no, in Kansas City, the hospitals were not flooded with QAnon believers who refused to wear their masks. They lied about that. So why would they be lying about that? What is all?
Hey, I don't know if I see Unika, she disappeared there for a second, but it's interesting to hear that they come out and they basically saying that even if it is the virus, yes, they will actually still want the vaccine, they still wanted to actually wear on a mask because you could still spread the virus. But Unika, to summarize most of the information there, where's your thoughts about everything that he basically shared there?
Basically, even before seeing that and a lot of other news reports, right? From March 2020 to now, the amount of times that science and facts, what was supposed to be facts, changed. Like so many things that was said last year no longer applies this year. We actually started last year with them mocking people who were wearing masks, right? Literally mocking people. And then it was like, no, and then masks saved lives. They actually, I remember watching a whole program about how basically dumb it was to wear a mask and showing through science how a mask does not protect you, right? I remember that clearly. I actually remember not somebody to wear mask before mask was mandatory. Especially when I go to Super Farm, I would wear a mask because I'm going to a pharmacy, right? And I remember bouncing up somebody there. And they literally laugh at me. They say, "You taking this thing serious? You're wearing masks?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm in a pharmacy, right?" And you know, it was a big joke. And then all of a sudden, within like weeks, masks became the thing that saved your life. I remember listening to our health minister saying there's actually a video where he said that basically that I was dumb and only health workers, but they took down the video now. And then within weeks of that, it was masks is what's saving your life, right? Wear a mask. And then people weren't doing it still, and they made it mandatory, right? And then there was this theory about COVID living on surfaces for up to 3 days, right? And I remember thinking, wow, that's a super virus living on surfaces for 3 days. And I'm thinking, if that virus can live on surfaces for 3 days, man, no amount of cleaning in a place like a grocery could get rid of COVID off of every surface. And so it means almost anything I touch, you know, the fruits, the vegetables. And then they came out after and said that that's not true. That was, and then 1 minute it was airborne and next minute it was not. And that's how we've been going for the past year and a half, right? And so now with the vaccine, they started off with what they call facts, right? And the vaccine saving lives when they get the vaccine. It was first said by, what's his name? Fauci.
Yeah,
right.
Fauci, yes.
Fauci. Yeah. He said, and I was looking for that video. Actually, it's in here, you know, in that same Fox report, when earlier this year, he said that if you get the vaccine, you will not contract the virus. The vaccine will protect you against the virus. And then that changed. So what all this says to me, you know, for those of you watching, is that I know they keep telling you trust the science. I cannot trust the science. I'm sorry. I don't trust the science. I don't trust the politicians. I don't trust the doctors. Of course, I'm a sensible person, and COVID is real. I know they have some conspiracy theorists out there who say COVID is not real and the vaccine will do this and that. I'm not into that crap. COVID is real and millions of people died from this virus, and it's a serious thing and it's to be taken seriously. So from the start of this thing, what I started doing is building up my immune system. And every single day I take various different vitamins and stuff, right? That was my approach. And of course, all the other safety things. I wear my mask, I wash my hands. My hands dry and ugly because I sanitize and constantly wash it, right? So I am
Well,
not playing,
well. Mm-hmm.
right? And the vaccine, again, I am not here to say that the vaccine is not something that could perhaps save lives, and it did save lives, and it has and will continue to save lives. Um, but our issue, my issue, sorry, is the fact that it's being forced on people. And you're trying to take away people's basic rights, your basic right to earn a salary and work. Excuse me. And as Ava, the point that Ava made, so much of this makes no sense. It makes, when you think about it, if I'm being honest, I am not vaccinated yet, right? If I had the vaccine, the full dose, by my 2 doses, I would not be concerned about you who don't have the vaccine. I'm being honest. I would still wear my mask and do what I have to do. But you not how you threatening me. I go watch you and say, you go ahead with your foolish self if you get you. I good. That you know what I mean? I took the vaccine. How are you now a threat to me? That confusing me. That is the part that
All right.
I do not understand. That I supposed
Yeah.
to, at least if I can feel a little safer with the vaccine, then what's the point? That I still so scared of the unvaccinated. That
Hmm.
doesn't make sense. So my thing is, Kyle, as you
Maybe
asked,
some.
I don't trust.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust.
You don't
I
trust
don't
the?
trust science,
Sorry, you kind of fade out him.
science, doctors, leaders, politicians. My trust is in God. I am doing this thing, going through this thing, being led by the Spirit of God. And if at
Right.
some point I feel led to take the vaccine, led by God, I mean, I will do it. It's not the mark of the beast, and no vaccine
Mm-hmm.
can kill me or do nothing to me. You know what I mean? So if it ever come to that, with the Holy Spirit and with His prompting, His advice, because He's my advisor, right? I will take the vaccine. I haven't done so
Right.
yet because I don't need to. I could.
Yeah.
I have no boss telling me what to do or threatening me. And right now I can still go in the grocery, which is probably the only place I go. So I cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay. I would like to hear from people in the comment section because we're gonna go to you now, Eva, because there's a lot of people having a lot of comments. I would like to hear somebody opinion if they're willing to share it. Obviously, you can put it in the comment section.
Okay, all right. We have some comments here. Some of them are quite long,
Lengthy. Yeah.
but
Sure.
still gonna try to get them in, right? So let me start by saying good night to a few of you.
Good night.
We have Eniala, Pasi, Serrano, Danielle, Sedano, Krista Gordon, Risa Mack, Deborah Taylor, Ayuka, good night to you. Let me see. Danielle Basundia, good night to you. Danielle, see you watching from his home, wherever that is.
Yeah.
Good night to Ravi Dave, Voodoo.
Hey, good night.
Um, Special big up to Ravi Dave. Let me see who else we have here. AJ Allen, good night to you. Ayuka says it would be nice to hear an employer's perspective on this. So yes, again, guys, I know it was mentioned earlier. If we have any employers on the stream right now, and you are willing to join the stream and probably share your points of view, and as an employer, of course, you could just message us, okay? Let me see what we have here. So Kavi Mirage says epidemiological studies show that there are much fewer COVID-19 cases or deaths among vaccinated people compared to unvaccinated individuals. But where are the epidemiological studies showing the negative effects of the vaccine in healthy persons and the effects of the vaccine in persons with comorbidities? Ayuka says this is a very sensitive topic. Indeed, it is. Kavi Mirage says indirectly forcing persons via sanctions. It's worrisome to think that the sanctions may become worse. AJ Allen says, I know a person who died suddenly after being fully vaccinated, and the autopsy said the person died from blood clots to the heart. Good night to Jared Archibald, Lisa Beckles, good night to you as well. Happy Mirage says, so is it that the unvaccinated are threat to the vaccinated? Can a vaccinated person still contract and spread the virus just like the unvaccinated? Help me understand. My concern here is the growing alienation of the unvaccinated person. If the vaccine simply helps you to fight the virus more effectively but does not aid in containing transmission, then why treat the unvaccinated like lepers? Um, let's see. Let me see. Kerwin Narayan, good night to you. Kerwin says people will leaving their clothes at the door. It's true. I kind of used to do some of those things in the 80s.
Yeah, I didn't really care, to be
Hey,
honest.
Good night. This is a small thing, but I think here's rephrase the needs of course. Ayoka, it seems as though many people are skeptical because of previous misinformation. The truth is, we don't even know anymore what is misinformation because, exactly as Nick say, everything is constantly changing or changes to some extent at some point. Akila Valentine, good night to you. Akila says, vaccinated persons can still spread COVID, but the likelihood is much lower, especially because symptoms are not going to be as intense, less coughing, etc., and there's a lower viral load. Employers may encourage employees to take the vaccine because they're responsible for them. A hotel in Antigua reported 30 of their staff was COVID positive. Do you think people are now rushing to book that hotel? Business owners can control what goes on under their purview, and that's what they're trying. Oh gosh, I scroll and I missed the comments.
Trying to do.
Trying to do, yeah.
I think that's a good point, though.
Terrence Phillip, good night to you. Kavi Mirage, full disclosure, my dad suffered a stroke in the cerebellum 4 days after receiving the second dose. Oh gosh, that's just crazy. But a lot of people are saying that these things are only happening to persons who have under other underlying issues.
I guess
Health
there's something
issues.
that I look at when you're taking the vaccines that they do have side effects, and there's something that you have to inform yourself about and also pray about too.
Brent Hector, good night to you, Brent. Um, While it wasn't taken away, we handed over our freedom. We never seriously challenged anything the government was doing and saying during the 18 months. We took the arrogance and cheered when the press was roughed up. No accountability. We emboldened those in charge and never pushed for proper dialogue for the government to look at alternative strategies, etc. We made jokes about the Prime Minister dress code being linked to what freedoms he might take or give back. We all allowed the politicians, bureaucrats, and the medical. I can't see the rest of the comments. I might have to go to Facebook to see it. Yeah, but you wouldn't be able to see the rest
Oh,
of it here.
okay.
Let me see. Patty and Charles Roberts, good night to you. How could it be defined a vaccine though? How could it be defined a vaccine though, and why is it being compared to what we as children when we don't know anyone who got polio or measles? Candy, good night to you. Let me see. Patty says, as an employer, my employees' vaccination status remains their business. Um, Let me see. Nicholas Bowler. I see it through a different lens. Worship is voluntary. If you define worship, reverence, adoration to hold in high esteem, etc., and you look at the attitude of the pro-vaxxers, it's as though they worship this thing and are trying to and they're trying to force us to worship it as well. Marissa Marine, good night to you. Susan Singh, good night to you. Susan says, to me, this vaccine and stuff are causing division amongst us. Lisa Beckles. But leaving your outdoor clothing and shoes at the door is part of an effective home re-entry protocol. AJ Allen says, why the government not making the position clear as it pertains to the public service? I don't know if we can answer that question.
You talk about it today, don't say he was disappointed with the teachers and the nurses, only 50% of
Yeah, you
them
mentioned it.
were vaccinated.
But I think what this person means is like
if it's mandatory or not.
yeah. Kathy Mirage, the main problem I had in my dad's case is that the medical professionals did not acknowledge that the vaccine was a possible cause of the stroke. So it would not be in any statistics or okay. That makes sense. Jared Archibald, I think well, in my assumption, let me say it's my assumption that part of the reason for that caveat is I think they want people to take the vaccine so they wouldn't provide something like that as part of statistics because then people who already don't want to take the vaccine will have even more to go on and say, well, I don't want to take the vaccine because look, this person died and because there could be increasing cases. It's not just one case, sorry, where a person get a stroke or whatever other issues could happen. Because I myself heard of an issue where my sister's co-worker after taking the vaccine, I think he began to vomit blood. Uh, I think he began to vomit blood, and a few days after, he passed away after taking the vaccine. Um, Jared says, as of presently in my job, in my workplace, they are not forcing me to take it, but some are trying to make it that way where I work. Kevin Narayan, this is why they are now asking the vaccinated to wear masks. Kavi says exactly that's my point exactly, but that's misleading the public. Yes, but that's the only way to get the public to take the vaccine. All right, so that's it for the comments. For now, I think I got almost all in, if not all. My first giveaway is going to go. I saw a name here that I never saw before. And he left a nice long comment. Was it Brent? Was it Brent? Yes, there was a Brent. Brent Hector. Congratulations to you, Brent. If this is your first time on the Real Talk Show, a very special welcome to you. We always love having new viewers. And you are the winner of our first giveaway. Congratulations to you. It is our Amazon voucher, right? So you don't have to go anywhere to collect it. It will be emailed to you. So just inbox us your email address, please. Guys, you'll see how easy that is, right? All you have to do is comment and you can win a giveaway, all right? So congratulations again to Brent. And guys, very quickly, I just want to give a shout out to MegaMac Computer Services. We know that it's time where kids are going back to school or preparing to go back to school, especially the transition between primary school to secondary school because it's a new school year. So we just want to give MegaMart Computer Services a shout out and remind you that if you are in need of a desktop, whether it's a new desktop or a new laptop, you can give them a call. Or also if you have a desktop or a laptop that need repairs and you know you're gonna be needing it for that school term, feel free to reach out to MegaMart Computer Services. All right, they're affordable, reliable, and definitely secure. And one of the best parts is he does households, all right? So you don't have to be too concerned about how to get to him or how to get your device to him, especially in these times. So you can just contact him and he will smooth those things out with you. His number is 733-6157 or 330-8791, all right? That's MegaMart Computer Services. And you can also check out his website at megamartcomputerservices.com, all right? Feel free to reach out to him. Yes, we're gonna go back to Kyle now. Congratulations again to Brent Hector.
No, congrats.
Hey, congrats, Mr. Hector. That's my brother from the play. We somebody messaged me and told me the government did do sequencing. They did check the strain of the vaccine to know, the virus to know if it was what it was. So I find it strange, but yes, they did find it. They said they did it, right? Remember earlier on they said somebody brought the Delta here.
Yeah.
2 people.
Right.
And they
I remember I was asked
put-
question and right, so I asked question and like how they just find out that they said how they did a strain sequence and they found out because like I was saying, you can't just naturally just test somebody and find out what strain of virus they have now. But yes, so we're moving on to the next half of the segment and we have maybe one or two I don't know if they're employers, but they work in some established companies and they would like to share some of the I know I invite them want to hear their input of what it is going on, like where's their thought, and also maybe the company policy and view. Obviously we don't want them to share what is the company name for the company's sake, because obviously these kind of things the companies don't want to come out and share their stake unless they have some PR person speaking on behalf of the company, because we know it's bacchanal happening all over the place with this whole thing, right? But before we go to there, I would like to share the video first with our local employer that is public, and most people might have seen, but we would like to build an establishment of the premise of this next part of the segment to really go with now, how it is there's a lot of manipulation happening within the field of this. We see the actually publicly people. I think Mark mentioned it before that there are people saying on you have to go I think it's Eva that every 2 weeks you have to go and take a test. Imagine you work in KFC or someplace like that. That basically your salary. You understand? Like basically your salary, you have to because they don't want you to do these quick tests. They want you to do the test for almost like 1,000 something, right? So that basically your
That's
whole
a quick
salary
one.
you have to spend. Yeah, you have to basically spend your whole salary to actually just work. You get where I'm coming from, right? So it's a high form of manipulation they're working on people. Because I could be honest with you, right? I told my fiance this, right? That nobody knows if it is to take the vaccine in the next couple of years if it will affect your children and also your childbearing. They have no proof of certain things going to happen when it is to take the vaccine. And I can understand that some people who say I want to see certain things because let's be real, right? It is not like you're taking the chickenpox vaccine or any kind of different thing. It's not stopping you from getting any virus. You're still getting the virus. You understand? So it's not any parts that have certain vaccines you take and prevent you from actually getting the virus. I can understand why some people would have questions where for the next 3-4 years, what's gonna happen in my body or what is gonna do within my body. I can understand some people questioning that, right? So we're gonna go to the video, Professor, and let's see what it is. This employer was telling the employees for some time now. Let me hear. Now we pull it up from Facebook because we want the live source.
Vaccinated. A lot of people are saying, yes, it is my choice whether I want to be vaccinated or not. That is correct. Right? What I would like to point out is by you not being vaccinated, you are risking your life, you are risking all your family and friends' life who you mix with, and you are risking your colleagues at work's life. Right? This is not my business. Anyway, I am making a twofold push. As you all say, it is your choice, each and every one of you all, if you all want to be vaccinated or not. Right? But you all have to realize that we have to make choices here as well. Right? Right? And everybody's choices has consequences. Everybody has to realize that whatever choice you make for yourself have consequences with it. Whatever choices I make have consequences as well. So my first action to try and push you all to be vaccinated, to let everybody here know that come December, the unvaccinated will not be getting a Christmas vote. Yeah, but it's very effed up, Jason, that you all don't want to get vaccinated.
You cut it to the wrong place, but go ahead.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Get proper medical advice. Here's not one argument. I'm just telling you all now what I am doing. Right?
Professor, could you go back, Professor?
It's your choice.
To the other mark. A little more. More.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Get proper medical advice. Yeah, well, it's very effed up, Jason.
No, before that, Professor. There's 3 points he made. I want everybody to hear the 3 points.
We'll have to quarantine for 3 weeks. All right? Each one of you. I fought with the ministry. I'm making that clear to you, right? Anyway, I am making a twofold push. As you all say, it is your choice, each and every one of you all, if you all want to be vaccinated or not. Right? But you all have to realize that we have to make choices here as well. Right? Right? And everybody's choices has consequences. Everybody has to realize that whatever choice you make for yourself have consequences with it. Whatever choices I make have consequences as well. So my first action to try and push you all to be vaccinated, to let everybody here know.
Leave it there. He's gonna mention 3 choices.
December, the unvaccinated will not be getting a Christmas bonus. Right?
So they ain't get no Christmas bonus. Hold on, no, leave it.
That's what?
No, go ahead. All right. Go ahead. Skip it forward, I believe. Yeah.
And put in my life address. Of course it is. Of course it is. Get proper medical advice. Here's not one argument. I'm just telling you all now what I am doing. Right? Who don't want to get vaccinated is your choice. It's your choice. But you will not be considered for a Christmas vote. That's number one.
I leave
Second
it.
thing I plan to do, Watch and see what happens with our numbers of vaccination. You all can come and let me know if you all have decided to be vaccinated and have gotten vaccinated. And by the middle of September, the weekly bonus that you all get, I might have to stop that one as well. Right? To try and give you all an incentive, go and get vaccinated. Third push that I might be able to make is to say everybody who is not vaccinated needs to bring out a negative test for me every so often, whether it's every week or every quarter. Just letting you all know what the company's position is, gentlemen and ladies. Everybody go, I urge you all, get vaccinated, get proper medical advice, not advice from the man around the corner or social army.
Yeah, that good, Professor.
Proper medical advice.
Yeah. So basically, there's like a dictatorship, and they say you have a choice. But if it is, don't go. You know, you have a freedom to choose it if you want or not, right? But in our line of view, you're not getting no bonus. And I had a little piece in the end I wanted to play, but you know, I mean, you all could watch over the video, you all see where it come from. But in the end, the guy asked this question, right? With the one of the employees, he say, well, when it didn't have the vaccine, because remember earlier this year, there were people who was come out to work and they was working. So remember, it's within your whole span of the year, you're getting your bonus, right? It's not just for like. So he was saying, well, when it wasn't man, when it didn't have, and we used to come out for hours and we used to work shift, we used to do different things. We used to put our life at risk, and we was paying out, and now all of a sudden now that gonna be taken away from us, and it's almost like, I'll be honest with you, when I hear this, I just hear wickedness. I don't hear it because for the whole of last year and the whole of now, I can tell you, if I know people who have diseases who go out for companies when there's on lockdown and all kind of different things, and they could have gotten COVID and died. But they went out and they work and they sacrificed their life to do certain things, prevention, and they went out all out. And now here these employees now basically blackmailing these people to take the vaccine. They're not actually just saying, well, hey, you go ahead and you have choice and whatever the case may be. And I'll be honest with you, I'd rather hear our employer say you're fired than manipulate somebody like that. I find that is almost like dehumanizing somebody, that you bring them to a low, where it is you had them like begging for. I don't know. When I hear this, I'll be honest with you, all right? I am just saying you cannot buy, sell, or trade without a mark. That's all I hear, honestly, I am just seeing it's almost like a spirit on the world that they are being conformed to our opinion, that when you really check it, do you know it's strange, right, Mark and Onika, that even God give human beings the ability to go to hell based on their choice? If it is you actually want to die, you could go kill yourself, you could go to hell and do it on your own choice. But here's people now put in position to manipulate people to make them feel like they can't live or they can't do certain things. And I just find that is weird. I don't know if anybody else want to give their opinion based on that a little bit quick.
What he was saying as well as they had weekly bonuses that he took away.
So that he going to, he said that's the next step. He said the first step is and then the next step is every week the incentive. So it means that these people would come and work hard, Mark, and they would do the exact same job, but just because I know vaccine. I'll be honest, if I hear that as an employer, my work ethic break down a little bit. Because you understand me from that. Yeah?
I think basically they're telling you you're fired, but they can't fire you legal implication.
I don't know.
It's unfeasible for you to work. But if you look at what's going on now with the mask, if you're not wearing a mask, you'll be charged $1,000. And look, we can't even go outside after 9 and thing, and a lot of our freedoms going on. We get so accustomed. Like I was thinking about it, like we done kind of get accustomed to this routine and thing already, where our whole life changed so much, and it's almost like if it's like we in preschool or something, like being training for what the enemy really want to put in place. So we have to be careful.
Well, the spirit of it is really Satan, because he is when Jesus referred to like any form of slavery. Slavery is like that. So we have no choices. It's actually, he says, it comes from the father of the devil. That's so it really, there's a spirit really from Satan that you can't operate, you can't do any kind of thing, and that's his first form of control and manipulation. But yeah, you get what your point is making, Mark.
Because we literally can't go in you can't go in a store without having your mask on and stuff, and it kind of scary. You watch countries like St. Vincent where they unfortunately bust the prime minister head and stuff. People trying to protest. Barbados had their protests. Grenada also had some protests as well, where there are, people that are trying to keep their freedoms or fight against the mandatory implementation. But it have certain countries that if you want to travel to it, that they have mandatory vaccines that you had to take. So I don't know, it's kind of touchy.
When I was watching and I was thinking about this, right, Onika and Mark and everybody reviewing, I understand why the First and Second Amendment exists in America, because it's your freedom, but then also if there's a violating your freedom, I have the right to take up a gun and fight all you. Because I understand that this is what dictatorship could do. And remember, America went through a whole, situation where they come to a place where they realize this is the only way that everybody should have the right to their freedom. Where you would never go back to a form of this public kind of slavery. You understand where I'm coming from, right? Where one, it's about dictatorship. And because I'll be honest with you, I can talk for myself. I realized that we fail as Trinidad citizens when the government made a statement and they say, if it is you driving your car with your mommy and you don't have on your mask, you're getting charged. Because that's a high form of dictatorship. Because here they're reasoning. They say that if it is the PCAR and them, right? No, it's all they're not doing all their job when it comes to the PCAR. It's not we as citizens. You understand? Because, all right, when I home with my mother or whatever the case may be, we linemen without the mask, but all of a sudden now are we come at risk? No, the reason being is because all they're not doing all their job. You understand? But we as citizens, we have to pay for that now. We're not paying for that, but we're actually literally paying for that. You understand? So it's really a form of what they're trying to control you and tell you what it is you have to do, and you can't adjust. We not taking that, but now lockdown. If you're outside for a little 2 minutes, the police all over they catch you, but they couldn't catch your PCAR mark. When they was taking the taxi man, they couldn't do that. But now they know to catch everybody when it is your no mask, and so it's really a high form of manipulation happening all over the world. But Onika, you wanted to share something before we bring on the next guest?
Just concerning that video, I see that as wickedness. I saw Lisa commented and said that it's within his right as an employer. Bonuses are incentives and you can withdraw it at any time. But, I mean, normally the incentive is based on how you perform. Normally, it's based on your performance throughout the year, not on whether you decided to take a vaccine or not.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because we went through times, Mark, in the company we used to work where they say, no Christmas bonus, and we just had to suffer with that, right? They can't do whatever, but there's a different case.
It's manipulation. I see it as wickedness as well, because these people have their families to feed. And it's people are saying, it's weird. I saw another comment where somebody said, are we going to stop taking other drugs because we don't know what is in it? I've been taking, I'm 49, I've been taking Panadol for 49 years. And I don't think it has had any effect on me that I could see. I think I'm pretty normal, and most of the drugs that I take, I don't see any adverse effect, you know what I mean? And if I take something, there have been drugs, actually, there have been drugs that I took in the past. I remember taking a vitamin, biotin, that I took in the past. And it's my heart I started to develop heart palpitations, and my heart would race. And I didn't know what was wrong with me. I thought something was fatally wrong with me, right? Until I realized that it was this tablet. When I stopped taking the tablet, the palpitations went away, right? And so that's my choice. I realized it affected me, so I stopped taking it. And it is, so imagine I take the vaccine, and I'm not saying, so imagine I take the vaccine now. It's not a matter of I could stop taking it, it's done in my system. So if I take it and have some adverse effect, where's my situation now, And so that's all we arguing and saying is it's your choice. It's your choice. That's all. Nobody's saying the vaccine good or it's bad or it's not helping people. Don't take away my choice. That's all. That's
And I think medically now, like even with the video, that's one of the reasons we show the video first, because we want to let everybody know that as time go by, they're realizing a lot more people with vaccine. So we're not saying now, obviously, the vaccine don't have a purpose in the context and stopping people from getting like most, maybe they might not they might die or some kind of different things like that, right? But we're not saying that, but strange enough, right? That
I'm not sure if Kyle went out there.
Yes, his internet is
Yeah.
situation.
But I from
Yeah.
listening to somebody address today, I would say that what is behind what some of these employers saying and even the government is fear. Because what
Hmm.
Mr. Rowley was saying today is that what he's afraid of is that if we have all these vaccines now, if people don't take it, he worried about the healthcare system being overwhelmed with people that's sick. So people basically have a fear. There's a fear element where they're afraid of dying. So that's part of it too.
That's how
Many
this
things
whole
get.
thing started. Fair. That's where we are,
Hmm.
where we are today. Fair. That's why we wear masks. That's why we couldn't go out. That's why it's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that, Mark, but they can't reach that point where they manipulate people to, because at the end of the day, it's the same taxpayers' money who, you understand, if I pay any, you understand, me, from the same taxpayers' money
Yeah.
who have these things, institutions. So I don't understand it. But we want to bring on the first guest. I don't know if he's here. Maybe they'll comment in the back end to let us know if this is here. So just let us, come in. If it is he is here, Professor, just bring him in on the stream. If he is not, we paging you, Daniel B, wherever you are. Come in, Mr. Page and Daniel B. They could come on the stream and hey, what up? Hey, at
Good
last,
night, good night.
man.
Hey,
Yes, yes.
Hey, how you going,
Yeah.
Daniel?
Good, good, good. How is everybody doing tonight?
I good, I
we,
good.
let's enjoy your background,
Yeah.
seeing all the countries in the world.
Yes,
Are
yes. I
you, like,
getting back.
you're, you're planning to travel, huh?
Well, yes, yes. I'm a Caribbean citizen. This is a Caribbean map from all the way
Yeah.
from Barbados, Bahamas to Guyana in the south.
Oh,
Oh
okay,
wow.
okay. So it's your next trip you're planning to go.
Most likely Guyana, going back home
Okay.
to visit families.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Nice. So one
Yeah.
of the reasons you work for a company with you hire people, different things like that, right? We wanted to know what is your take, and obviously we don't want to know exactly the company you're working for, but maybe also the company you take. Maybe all you might have the same policies, but what is your stance on, like, say, obviously you're working with people, and but so what's your stance in the area when it comes to they taking the vaccine or not? If it should be mandatory, or is it that you're sending letters and saying, well, if you don't take it, you have to go and take the vaccine. I want to take a test every 2 weeks. I don't know. I'm just joking, but you let me know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, I work for an accounting firm, and as part of my responsibility, I handle some HR matters as well as hiring and so on. And
Hmm.
our position has been that it's a personal choice. Taking the vaccine, I mean, the government hasn't mandated anything, and our position is that people have a choice, and they have to make that choice what they want to do because um, it's a health decision that they need to make. So we haven't told employees, you have to take the vaccine or you don't have to. So what we're doing is that we're encouraging employees to take it, making telling them about the various avenues that is available. So as part of the association that our company is part of, they have organize a vaccination drive. So we inform the staff, well, this is going on. If you want to be part of this, these are the links to go and register and get vaccinated. And then, we share updates from the government. But we're not telling them that, you know, you're going to be reprimanded or any actions are going to be taken against you if you don't take the vaccine, or if you do take the vaccine, you're going to get preference, or things like that. And I
Okay.
think our situation is that, well, a lot of our staff are working from home,
Well,
and
I was not
people
gonna
have been
ask. Yeah, like
yeah,
if there are a lot of them working from home. Hmm.
yeah. So since the work from home started back in March last year, I think we have a few staff who hasn't been back to the office, so they've been working from home right through. except probably for a day or two where they had to go to do something. And based on the nature of our work as well, we have to go out to clients, but we've reduced that significantly only to things that we definitely need to go out for.
Yeah.
So, our interaction with other people are very limited. So, there isn't a high risk that, in other industries like restaurants or so on, where you have to be in direct contact with customers on a daily basis. So, that's why we can take, a more relaxed approach as well.
Okay, so
Yeah.
but where's your take on this, right? Like the guy you were saying, if anybody know the name of that company, I would like to know, right? You can put it in the comment section from that video. I'd like to know where's the name of the company. I'll look all in the comment section to find our company, but I would like to personally know what company that is, right? But Daniel, what is the risk the company have that, like, say people don't take the vaccine, right? Because they have two sides of the story. I want to hear maybe if you have an opinion on that, right? Where's your take on, like say if it is your company, the people that they don't take it. Where's the risk that it has for the company
Yeah.
itself?
Okay. Well, I think the statistics what they've said is that people who are vaccinated has a less likely chance of contracting the vaccine and getting
Yeah, I mean the virus, yeah.
sorry, yes, the virus, yes. They have a less likelihood of getting the virus, right? And
Mhm.
also, if they do get it, then the seriousness is drastically reduced. So, there's a less likely chance of them getting extremely ill or dying. And I think, from that angle, companies can educate their employees and tell them, what are the benefits they are. And, there is actually the number of persons who have died after being fully vaccinated is very, very low. And
Mhm.
based on the science that we have available right now, I know Unika mentioned that the science keep changing as new evidence come to life. But based on what we have available right now, it seems to be safe. And that was what I've been telling people. And I myself we've taken the first dose of the vaccine. And one of the reasons why is because because I'm not from Trinidad, we may have to travel in the near future, and that is one of the requirements. And also because I think based on the evidence that we have right now, it seems to be safe. But
Okay.
coming back to the question that you were asking about, um, employers looking out for their employees, well-being. I think there's a good reason to encourage them and also making them aware of, what are the risks involved. Because
Okay.
there's lots of misinformation out there, and I think there needs to be more to inform people, what are the ups and downs of it, and what they should do. And I think somebody also mentioned earlier in the program that if there should be an outbreak at the establishment, some people might have fear, they don't want to go there because they have an outbreak or they have a lot of cases of COVID-19. So employers may want to, reduce the likelihood of that happening, to have their name tarnished and lose customers. Um, so I think that is why, employers might want to, to tell people. But I think um, there has to be a point, where they say, encourage people, and it shouldn't go to the extent where they're demanding people to do it. And in the case where that the video that you were showing, the employer was saying that they would restrict bonus and things like that because they haven't gotten vaccinated. And I think bonus is something that is generally linked to your performance. So your
Mhm.
performance doesn't have anything to do with you being vaccinated or not. If you're not vaccinated and you get sick and you can't work, well, then it's a different thing. But as long as you're able to work and you're performing, the same criteria should be used for the vaccinated and the unvaccinated as it relates to bonus. I mean,
Yeah.
they could use other avenues of trying to persuade people or let them get the vaccine, but mandating it is definitely um, not something I would encourage.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
it's a good point to make there with the where they trying to make you feel well, like with your bonus and different things like that, because it's a sad thing to see on the opposite side, like I was mentioning before, that you would have half it. Because I sure for you, right, it had when it didn't have the vaccine, and all of the employees went still be on and beyond. Actually, some of them was putting their life at risk to go when it didn't even have a solution, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
now
yeah.
and
Staff
now
was
all
still
of
going
us.
out and working. Yeah.
Yeah, now all of a sudden you're treating them like a dog, basically. You know what I mean? Now, because there are a lot of companies who the opposite happen, where it is they couldn't be open, and the employee, a lot of the people who they work with, the employees was out of a job for so long and different things like that, right? And now that they come back, now it's like almost like a form of abuse I seen it as like like I had to do this and if you can't work,
Yeah.
and it's a strange thing. But with any questions, maybe Marco, Unika wanna ask, because we have another person. I don't know if he's here with us. Anthony, maybe the professor could let us know any background or just bring him on. But anyone want to ask him any question from what basically anything he said there?
No, I mean I agree with 95% of what he said. I really don't listen. I really don't trust the science. I don't. I mean, I mean, top point, yeah, they're the experts, but I lost faith. I've been honest. I lost faith. So, um, not that I am
well, 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 the same
against.
video with one of the CNN videos, the one of the head person behind the discovery of, or so the lady, I can't remember her name right now, right? She
Mhm.
basically said that it was a man-made virus that went from before, and they designed it for a purpose to attack certain
It's a
parts
one.
of.
It's a man.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that remember
yeah,
that was a big argument, and
yeah.
they give from hell for saying that. But
Hmm.
now it is in fact that it was not did not come from bats. It was made in a lab,
Hmm.
and so it may not. That's another video. I don't know if that's a part of what we're showing, but it may
Yeah,
not
it's a
be.
different video. Yeah.
It may not be just a simple virus. Basically, is what they were saying. That yes, it's a typical virus, but there may be some additives in the virus because it was a lab made thing, right? But yeah, I mean, I agree with what Daniel was saying, and I mean, I'm seeing comments too, and people talking about why employers are concerned. And listen, I don't think this country and many businesses can take another shutdown. I don't know if the economy will survive another shutdown. And so
All
if
right.
so, as an owner of a business, and my livelihood being at stake, if the government says, well, for you all to continue to operate, the employees have to vaccinate. I totally understand that the employers may feel pressured, excuse me, but it still should not be a case of manipulation, and taking away your basic rights. And especially if imagine you have an employee working in your company for years, and here it is all of a sudden, which I heard of an instance today, somebody working in a company for years, and her boss, or out of the blue this week, sort of gave her an underlying threat, not losing outright, and she felt hurt and disappointed because she worked for this person for so many years, and here it is now you're backed against the wall. I'm like, what about all the years of service I gave, all my loyalty, or you know what I mean? And now it's coming down to a vaccine and my choice. And so she was like, I can't believe that this is where I'm at. And I guess that is the part that to me is just a bit unjust. But I do understand the employer's side of it and the pressure that they're under, to keep their business afloat and to comply with what the government is saying.
Part of the video, Onika, we didn't show, which I mean is not fully like why the reason is documented, is that they basically in the UK they didn't shut down when it was the Delta virus that became rampant.
Right.
And you all know they had euros and all kind of different things, and they didn't shut down. And actually, they realized they didn't have a need for doing what they did, because they didn't get.
Eventually died
Yeah,
down. Yeah, the deaths became
they,
less, and yeah.
yeah. So I just find that interesting. You want to say about Mark?
I was just saying that I think Daniel raised a lot of good points and concerning well the business, their reputation being tarnished, and then a lot of businesses would be fearful because they would be financially strained. Most businesses would have lost money, and then now when you finally reopen it, they would be scared to have COVID outbreak and then the business had to shut down or people are afraid to come. I think again I come back to I think a lot of people are fearful about going under for good because I think some people that I know really in a dangerous financial situation or position I think and every day when I see what's going on it really makes me think about where Jesus said in the last days we'll be in perilous times. I think we here and I just pray for the government that God really guide them because we really need the wisdom of God to navigate this because it's thousands of lives actually at stake and livelihood at stake. So,
Well, the next force gonna be coming is that sad because like I hear like Daniel gave good points. So I'm not bad talking Daniel in front of the face, but soon you'll be hearing because my question would be to Daniel is if it is all the people who come into your company or any kind of thing like that, which is not the case, right? Because you do really deal with situations like that. But like let's say at KFC, are they going to turn down all the people who come into KFC that don't have a vaccine? They know they will take their business, right? Because at the end of the day, they're talking about the care. It's not that they care. They want the money. You understand where I'm from, right? But so they will put out a statement and say, if it is you're not vaccinated, you can't come and buy KFC. But the problem is when that time comes, that is when it is you realize it is enforced on the nation that everybody to buy, sell, you have to take. You understand where I'm from, right? But that's just an interesting aspect of the businesses don't really they say they care about the employees, but they don't really care about the customers who come in and if it is something happen to them, they don't you know what I mean, and they come in and spread the virus, whatever, it don't really matter. Once they get their money, that is the most important aspect of the transaction and my business floating, right? But I don't know if the other person is here. You want to bring them on the stream, and thanks Daniel for coming on the stream and sharing your thoughts and your opinions.
Thanks,
Okay,
Daniel.
thanks guys for having me. Have a good night.
Hey, later, you enjoy your trip, boy. Later, boy.
Okay.
If Anthony is here, Anthony, you could come on in the stream. I don't know if you are here. Mark, no, he take off the camera at the wrong time. Hey.
Good evening, everybody.
Hey, where's this scene, boss man?
I got a fire extinguisher here because I realized this topic is a hot topic.
I like that. Yeah, you comment to spray down the comment section. All right, so Anthony, the same. I don't know if you hear the questions, but the same thing I would like to know is like maybe where's your stance personally on the vaccine and maybe the company. Obviously, you don't have to establish state what company you're working for, but maybe what the company policy behind it, and you let us know. So you take it away.
Well, good night, everybody. My name is Anthony. I work in the food and beverage sector, hotel and tourism sector. Very large field, and to me, I want to just deal with the facts. And the facts is that people are dying from the virus, and there are people surviving the virus. Right? We understand that there are some people that are that may not think they might die from the virus. That you're seeing that are dying, and then of course you've seen people have the virus and don't even know they have the virus. So to me, based on the facts that the studies have shown that 99% or a very high number, I would say, of people that get vaccinated are less likely to die or have a very serious effect from the virus. I think is wise for me to take the virus. Now I understand as a believer.
The vaccine, you mean? But go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So I understand as a believer. And for different people, for different reasons, they will, of course, may not want to take the vaccine, or they will want to take it. My only thing I would say, of course, is everyone to be cautious, right? If you do or don't take it, it's entirely up to you. It's your decision because you're putting something in your body. Just as you put food in your body, you're putting something into your body that, in the end, is to hopefully protect you from the virus. But however, I would say, when you go out there knowing how the virus is spreading, right? And you go out there and you see people in the Chinese restaurant or on the gyros or anywhere you go, most places, I'm sure many of you will see it in the comment section on this stream here. You've seen a lot of people that don't have any masks. And to know that the virus is being spread by people, of course, talking to each other without having masks or proper protection on, and people have the virus, right, and don't know they have the virus and are talking to each other and have a possibility of spreading the virus, I would tell people to be cautious. So there are a couple options out there for people. The people that want to protect themselves based on the science that they provided, there's a vaccine. But to those that, of course, don't want to take the vaccine, science has proven that a plant-based diet, of course, is the best route to go because it showed that a plant-based diet dramatically reduces the amount of or the impact that the COVID would have on your body. Yeah, it's not, of course, foolproof just as the vaccine, but that, of course, is the direction. And for businesses, with businesses, I understand that there are a lot of businesses pushing for employees to take the vaccine. Now, I understand this on two fronts because businesses are also working with other businesses, they have different sectors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And businesses could be losing business because their employees are not vaccinated, right? Which we have to understand, right? So you own a company and your company supplies services to another company. And the company that is paying you is telling you that they only want vaccinated workers on their job site, right? You as the employer, right? It's not because you are all pro-vaccine, but in the end, someone is interfering with your money. And Kyle, Mark, or Nika, if I'm sure you all know, when people start to interfere with your money, people start to do drastic things, right? So you have businesses that are pinned into a particular position where they have to react to what's happening, right? It's either they survive this, right? Or, of course, their business goes under. And the direction of the world and the direction of the economy, you're seeing where a lot of people are pushing that in order to operate or in order to get business or in order, you have to vaccinate, right? That is a major push. Yeah, so there's a financial implication for the business or the company. And I would say in the hospitality industry that I'm working in, the big push for us really is really to encourage. It's not really forcing anyone to make any decision. We try our best. We try our best to see how we could support, provide information, but it's not a force. It's entirely up to you. You make your own personal decision as to what you decide to put in your body. As I heard someone say earlier, someone took the vaccine and something happened to them. In the end, as I say, everyone has to know, what they want to do with their body, right? Because if you take the vaccine, as you're saying, some people may have passed away based on whatever information, but there's a great amount of people that have passed away by not taking the vaccine. So in the end, it's entirely up to you what you decide to do when it comes to the vaccine, yeah, and what type of vaccine you also take.
So and I was gonna ask you this, right? Do you like inform the employees like what vaccine they should take and stuff like that? Like, because it have different risks with different ones, right? So there's an education system as an employer that you all do in any company, or you just tell them, well, you should take it or you shouldn't take it, but you also go have a step further to tell them like what could be some of the risk of taking maybe this particular one based on the stats that I had from past.
It won't be advisable for someone, I think, or a company to tell someone which vaccine to take, right? Because you then be taking responsibility of telling this person you should take this vaccine. So if you tell someone that they should take something and something happens to that person, there's a possibility that you are, creating some sort of liability in that situation. So I don't think it's advisable to tell someone.
So they won't bring in a medical person or any kind of thing to talk about that.
Yeah, we had a medical person, come on and discuss different topics regarding vaccines and the benefits and stuff like that. So that did happen.
Okay, cool.
Anthony, before you go on, based on what you just said there, right? You said that there may be risks involved in advising someone to take Sinopharm as opposed to, let's say, AstraZeneca, right? And the company wouldn't want to be liable for any, But isn't encouraging employees to take the vaccine on a whole? Let's say if you encourage employees, which you should, right? I'm not saying you shouldn't, to take the vaccine and they make their choice and they take the vaccine, and it does have a adverse effect. I mean, what does the company say after that? Like if the person feels, because you said if you guide them as to which one, then you don't want to be liable. Just guiding them at all, and they might sit down in your conference in your work and say, "Wow, okay, you know what, this doctor making sense. You know what, let me go and take the vaccine," and then they get a stroke.
So interestingly enough, I'd liken it to a company telling their employees you should exercise, or you should eat healthy. I would liken it to that. But telling someone you should eat carrots, chana, and potatoes, and they have probably it doesn't work for their blood type. They have an allergic reaction, So I'd liken it to that. So I'd say, it's okay to tell someone to eat healthy, because based on the research, this is what we see: in that you eat healthy, you live a longer life, whatever it may be. But to tell you exactly what to eat, then I'm advising you on a situation. I'm advising you to do something that I may not know what may work for you. So I would say that. I would say, in the end, it's entirely that person's position, what they desire to do. Yeah, and
Well, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. Because that is entirely up to the person, because I could be pressured at work. Imagine somebody being pressured at work to take the vaccine, and they take it and they have an adverse effect. The employee now, they're not business. That's the thing. The employer, sorry, they're not business. They will say, "Oh gosh, boy, I'm sorry, I got a stroke, boy. Oh gosh," right? And that's it. So,
well,
which
it's
is
funny
why
you say that. Funny you say that, because yesterday actually, talking to one of my colleagues, and the colleague, one of my colleagues who didn't take the vaccine, right? Of course, I'm vaccinated. I took the Sinopharm. My experience, I didn't have any side effects. Everything went fine. First and second shot was good, right? But talking to the colleague today, and what is happening? There's a lot of peer pressure, right, on the job, on wherever you work. There's peer pressure, because there are people who are vaccinated, there are people who are not vaccinated, right? So there's a peer pressure building, and there are people, not because of religious reasons, also because a lot of people are putting a lot of pressure that a lot of people are not taking the vaccine because of religious reasons. Actually, you talk to a lot of people, they actually tend to realize, no, they're just afraid, they're not sure, they don't, they're just waiting to see. And what that person basically explained to me is that they're looking at everyone to see what's everyone's reaction, right? So we work in a company where we had over 200 persons, how much other persons would have taken the vaccine, right? So that person said to me, well, I didn't see anyone had any negative, anything negative happen to them. So they're saying, well, that's giving them some confidence now to actually go and take the vaccine, right?
Yeah.
So, they're not being pressured. This is just a casual conversation talking about it, and they're saying, they are observing. So a lot of people are actually taking this time now to observe what's happening. A month passed, 2 months passed, and because in the end, we've been taking vaccines all the entire life. Many people, from 1 year old, you're taking a vaccine. So in the end, people are now knowing that this is a new virus that has this great impact on the world. People are now wondering, all right, is this the right thing to take now? What would it do? How would it impact? And people are looking at other people to see what impact it has, to know how to move forward. That's my thought.
Yeah.
Okay. Mark, you want to ask anything?
No, I was just gonna say that at the end of the day, I would say taking the vaccine is a risk, and not taking it is a risk. We in a situation now where you have an element of a risk, because most people my co-workers who took the vaccine had no symptoms, except for one guy. His belly was real hurting him and thing, and it was bothering him for days.
I just laughed at Eva's face when you say that, not at the person.
Yeah, I guess she didn't know. Yeah, and he was sick, and he but he wanted the employment now, so he went again this week, and he take it and his belly and his gizzard and everything hurt him again. Yeah, but
Gizzard?
well, just for him, he was getting these side effects from taking it. But it's true what we were saying. What the company stand liability and thing, and as it is now, the company is not going to stand any liability for it. And so
Liability, yeah. No matter what doctor bills he pay. I mean, they're not, you know.
Yeah, and I know Anthony was talking about people being in the lines with the gyros and stuff and not wearing the mask and thing. But to be honest, I was wondering, you know, Anthony, I don't know what you think. Is this a new life now in terms of the mask and having to wear these masks and thing? Is it gonna be like this forever? And then what some other people are saying too is you compare this now to people dying from smoking cigarettes and cancer and accidents. And you know, you look at the statistics for other diseases and you wonder is it higher than what happened with the COVID? And some people think it's an overreaction. So I don't know. I was just wondering what's your thoughts.
Yeah, I would say no. Of course, I am not a health advisor, a health coach, or I have no expertise in this area. However, I would say though, we have lived with the virus for many years. So our entire life, we have known about the cold flu virus, chicken pox, measles, yellow fever, all these different things. We've had these things, different outbreaks over the years, right? And one thing human beings are extremely good at is learning how to adapt to different situations and different climates. So we see some things happening now where you see the Delta variant. Within 15 seconds, someone could be infected with the Delta variant. And you are seeing where the virus now is mutating where, even as I say, even if you are vaccinated, you could still be spreading the virus, right? Doesn't mean you might get all the, the impact might not be as high, but you could still be spreading the virus. So imagine if it mutates again, right? To something that they say, wow, we need to probably have a new vaccine. Is it possible? Possible. But in the end, I believe we've learned to live with many viruses over the years. Many challenges have come up over the years. And I think, the human population will learn to either eradicate this virus or learn to live with the virus.
So, Anthony, help me with this, right, Anthony? So the employees who work in, and let's say one vaccinated and one not vaccinated, right? Both of them still have to wear on their mask and thing and work?
Correct, yeah, of course.
So how the person who vaccinated and not vaccinated more likely to spread the virus? Like in which way?
Well, in the end, you see, we have to look at it from a holistic point of view where if you look at what we do on a day-to-day basis, especially on a job, there are areas of vulnerability where you may take off your mask in the washroom, right? You may use your phone, right? You may do different things that may be able to spread the virus, right? Let's say you're eating on a table and you take off your mask, eating at that table, right? Someone has the potential to come into contact with a surface that you may have come into contact with. So regardless if you're vaccinated or unvaccinated, once the science has proven that the vaccinated could spread the virus as well as the unvaccinated, I think it'll be of course in your best interest to make sure you wear the mask. Because even if you're vaccinated.
Yeah, well, that's why I asked the question, because if it is the same now with the new science that even the vaccinated people still have to wear on masks, they still could spread the virus, right? In other words, so some people are saying as a rebuttal that they're saying, well, the person who unvaccinated, right, they might have more symptoms. But at the end of the day, there are people who are asymptomatic and they do show no sign, but they're still spreading the virus. You understand where I'm coming from, right? But yet, and the normal form of working you have on your mask, you're doing everything proper. Obviously, I'll give you an example, right? Could the vaccinated person get a common cold? The answer to that is yes. So they could still come down and they could get sick. And it might be COVID, but the proper thing for any person who have the virus, if you're vaccinated or not, is to stay home in your house, right? or you have some kind of screening to see, well, whatever the case may be, it's still in your house. Because if it is you real coughing and all kind of madness happening like that, I would think you should, you know what I mean? Even it's have a stigma right now, even in the world, if it is you passing and you see somebody cough, you're like, whoa, what's going on here, right? So my point is this, right? That either or both of them can still spread the virus. It would seem like, you know, the way they make, I know, because employees making it seem like, yes, you have a lower risk. But when they say the lower risk, they're saying it's because you wouldn't have us coughing and you wouldn't have the cold. But I think that is like practical things in either situation that the person shouldn't be in work in the first place. If it is you coughing and all kind of thing all day, you shouldn't come to work. That's why you should tell the person well, they should go home or spend the rest of the day home and then you go and do your test and see if you have the. You understand where I'm coming from, right? It shouldn't because the way that the vaccine, the virus spreading right now, is not by people bouncing up people and they coughing and different things like that. It's just like from touching surfaces, from situations like that. Maybe you're going to grocery, some that situation, and that is most likely how most of the virus spreading amongst people.
Okay, you know
But
they
if
say that dog and cat and pig and thing have the COVID too. So you get it from your pets and thing apparently.
well,
Sure,
it's a different strain that some people had if you watched, you know. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I just find it. And the reason why I ask that because I just find it interesting that people they're saying how you have more symptoms, but if you do have symptoms, regardless, it shouldn't be in work. You understand? So you wouldn't be in the office in the first place, and that's not the way the virus is actually spreading. Is by people who maybe they, like you say, they touch a thing, and you go somewhere and you're interacting, and or maybe if you lend somebody your phone
What
and
I
say
would say to
somebody put a
that
hand in
is,
their face, you good. Rebuttal me.
But I was just gonna say
Hey,
though, like Anthony stick, it have people
Elsa?
that going to work
Uh-huh.
because they need the money. So
Uh-huh.
that's something to take into consideration too.
Yeah. I guess he's frozen. I think
Yeah.
he went with Olaf there for a second. So maybe you could go to the comment section. If you come back,
Yeah.
you go ahead and yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot of comments. I think
yeah, sorry, I don't know if I got cut off
Anthony,
there.
we'll come back there, right? We just
Yeah,
want to go to the
man.
comment section by the time, right? So you could hold on to the question statement you're gonna make.
all right, so Tamika Springer says it's the spirit of the Antichrist. Nikki Chapman says, correct, God gave man a choice, so man shouldn't take away choice. So let me see. Kevin 9 says people lying and working, living with each other, unvaccinated, and then one person gets vaccinated, and all of a sudden it's a problem. You would think now that you vaccinated, if you would be safer. Where Christy means instead of unvaccinated is a threat to the vaccinated. This is not natural, guys. It's a spirit. Lisa Beckles, if you are currently employed, they cannot fire you, so they have gotten creative to force you to comply or leave. Let me see. Let me say goodnight to Kimberly Singh. Who else we have here? Doing Paul Kyle Rambo Joseph. I don't know why he called him
That was
Rambo.
way back though.
Yeah, well, that's how long they
Yeah.
take it to come to the comments. Copy Mirage has been done with this guys that they cannot tell who is really family from who isn't. Nicholas Gola is like a foreshadowing of worshiping the beast. Not the mark of the beast, but creating a reward system for obedience. Elijah Gola, guys, right? I had a bad cold after Christmas time once. I could have barely walked. And I actually worked for 24 hours after my manager called and begged me. I was out for days after that. AJ Allen says, this is a scripture, and as it is appointed unto man who wants to die, but after this, the judgment. Why are Christians afraid to die? Can a vaccine save you when God ready to call you home?
I really saw some Christians pointing up that hey, well,
They're
if
afraid to
we're
die?
afraid to die for you're going to heaven.
But I don't think it's that anybody's afraid to die. People just exercise.
Well, yeah, I'm not
afraid,
saying
right?
that he said that, but that's what they were saying. They were saying, hey, why are you afraid to die? You're going to heaven.
I don't
This
think
was interesting
nobody's
what
saying
they
that
were
they're
saying.
afraid to die. It's just, I guess that's actually what the show is about. Let me speak for the show. The
Yeah.
show is about freedom. It's nothing about being afraid to die. Kavi Mirage says not much difference between firing someone and sending them in no pay leave though. True. Suchin Styling. Not to detract from your dad's experience, but my mom got a stroke 2 days before she was due to take her first shot. If she had received the first shot and then experienced a stroke, we may likely have said that it was due to the vaccine. Just saying, perhaps they really weren't sure in my experience, and they are often reluctant to say things as such as they probably have had people use their words against them, whether in litigation or otherwise, and maybe hesitant to say.
That's true.
Let me see. Katie, good night to you. Kevin Narayan says the internet needed a vaccine. I laughed when I said that, so I just wanted to say that. Alicia says my problem is now if kids were not being vaccinated. Why is he vaccinated about the bottom? My problem is now if kids were not being affected, why do we need to rush to vaccinate them for school reopening? I don't know. Karen Ryan, sure, worry is good, but worry should not lead to draconian measures. Solange Moses, good night to you. They need to look into our patient treatments that are showing promising results worldwide. Ravi Dave who says be a warrior, not a warrior.
I'll keep that in mind, Ravi.
Katie, another argument I keep hearing is that children have been taking vaccine for a long time, but not because something is required means it's right, because you're still forcing someone to do something they don't want to. I'm Lisa Beckles. I'm also concerned about the vaccines being given without a lot of advice with their personal situations. Like even persons with comorbidities are giving into social pressure and just going for vaccines without proper consultations with their doctors. Well, I guess that will be on the responsibility of the individual because it's your responsibility to know what your medical history is before taking the vaccine.
And then what they're saying is that people with comorbidities are more likely to get severe symptoms or possibly die. At least that's the rhetoric.
COVID, or?
Yeah, so that's why some of them might go and take it because they're afraid.
And then the thing is, those persons are the ones who the vaccine tends to affect if they really do affect people, as people are saying.
Yeah,
Nikki Chapman, I agree that everyone has a choice and no one should be forced to take the vaccine, but I keep hearing about employees being affected. What about the rights of the employer and wanted to save their business? Maurice Varane, I spoke to one person who was adversely affected by taking the vaccine, and the doctors told her it's anxiety and it might not be the vaccine. I'm not sure why Kerwin said he's looking for a job.
that's when Daniel
was on. Angelia Dell. It's amazing that most of the world is all about pro-choice when it comes to abortion and LGBTQ. But when it comes to the COVID vaccine, choice goes out the window.
That's an interesting observation. Wow.
Nicholas Bowler, persecution will come, but the word of God says in Mark 16 that no deadly thing we drink shall harm us. If we are forced, then we are covered. But as long as I have a choice, then it's a no from me. Kabi Mirage, the protocol should be strictly adhered to. Mask in public spaces, socially distance yourself, and sanitize regularly. Be smart and stay away from congested and enclosed places. But regarding the vaccine, this decision should be made after conversing with God. Nikki Chapman, their business. If they have to keep closing, that's negatively affecting their income as well. Sammy Dread, if you don't have COVID-19, you cannot share it. So vaccine or no vaccine, it's normal. First one was a content closure business. Shean Payne Web, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Risk for employers at a constant closure business because of infections. Katie says the thing is whether or not you take the vaccine, you can still contract the virus, etc. So why this level of pressure? Additionally, how many people are having adverse reactions, yet you're not hearing anything about it? Sarana Jonathan. Okay, but is there a law that says they can't operate if everyone isn't vaccinated? No matter what, you cannot take away anyone's free will. But it's really heartbreaking to see but sometimes only if we ourselves are in the situation we then understand. How can you tell someone making $1,500 every 2 weeks to spend $1,000 every 2 weeks to do a PCR test? Is is that being wicked, and that's being wicked and controlling, stripping person of the free will choice God has given us. Um, Lisa Becker says most employers are concerned about outbreaks originating in their business, possible short-term closures, plus the cost of things such as sick leave. I even heard of a company refusing to pay for sick leave if unvaccinated employees become sick with COVID-19 and are unable to work. Yes. Um, there's a few companies that, well, there's a company that actually stated something along those lines, but nothing is set in stone yet. So only when it's set in stone, then we will see what happens there. And the company also offered to, through insurance, of course, pay for testing. So testing technically would have been free, but I believe it was only one test for a year. And all of these, basically, I guess you could say the perks are now being revoked. And I think that is in an effort to get people vaccinated. Current Narayan employers cannot set up their own policies that are in violation of our national industrial laws. Let me go all the way down so I can get some more recent comments. Um, Something. Esther Noel says my daughter's friend needs blood ASAP, and the doctors are asking for only unvaccinated people to donate. What do you think about that? Oh, I thought it was vaccinated. It's unvaccinated. That is interesting. Um, Let me see. Nicky Chapman. Yes, I saw the video. He did mention he had to shut down because the people who were doing bills were either in contact or had COVID, and if that had to happen again, his whole business was shut down.
Well, yeah, that was the guy with the video that they were showing earlier.
But whether somebody vaccinated or not, that could still
Well,
be the
what
case.
he was saying is somebody in his company got COVID and they wanted all the girls as do the bills and stuff to quarantine too, and he had to beg and say they was in a separate place with the mask, and he was saying, and they didn't have to quarantine, and because they didn't, his business was allowed to go forward, but could have shut down now.
Yeah, but if somebody is vaccinated, that can still happen.
Yeah, but he was just saying that he had that scare, so that will bring him to this point now.
Everybody vaccinated, still not stopping that now. Anyway, Karen Narayan, when will churches be allowed to gather, and will the government insist that only vaccinated people assemble? This is a long one. Akila Valentine, a vaccinated person who is concerned for the unvaccinated out of a general care to not see people die. I don't agree persons should be forced, but I strongly encourage my family to take the vaccine as well because I wouldn't want them to get COVID and die. Some businesses are careful about unvaccinated persons, though I've spoken to at least 3 individuals concerning a service they offer, and their first question was whether I was vaccinated. Kavi Mirage, one fact is that the science is shifty, another fact is that the statistical numbers are being manipulated. Sarana says, but my question is why are they only concerned about if a person is vaccinated when the virus can be spread by both unvaccinated and vaccinated persons? I think this is everybody's question. Shezreel Justice Jones. Viruses mutate with time and thrive in human hosts. When a majority of a country's population has 0% immunity to it. Hashtag Delta variant. Cohen Narayan says, if I didn't miss it, let's talk about children, school, and vaccines. All right, I'll just do about 3 more comments and we'll go back to Kyla, right? Lisa Bethel says, St. Lucia is very highly tourism dependent. Most hotels now are making vaccines mandatory because the tour operators in the US and Europe that bring most of their tourists are only sending persons to hotels where all staff are vaccinated. Nicholas Bowler. First time hearing this guy, but much respect for telling it as it is, but using that same logic with suppliers on an international level can very well explain why the government is pushing vaccination. I think after this, most persons just spoke out their employers. allowing doctors to speak with them. Let me see. Okay, I will probably put this last comment in. This is from Just Real Justice Jones again. What if there's a deadly pandemic killing thousands? It's airborne and easily spread. There exists a solution scientifically proven to be effective and save lives. What else would be the logical solution as a business owner? Who is responsible for lives working in my company? Get vaccinated. Can't be upset with them. Not saying to force anyone, but I'd be doing what's best for my business because companies can retrench and hire vaccinated. All right. And that will take us back to Kyle, but let me just do my second giveaway. My first giveaway went to Hector. So congratulations to Akila Valentine. This is the first time I'm also seeing this name here on Real Talk. Thank you so much for your comments, your input. I'm not sure if you had any questions, but thank you for your comments, Akila Valentine. And if this is your first time viewing, welcome to the Real Talk Show. If this is just your first time commenting, thank you for your comments again. And congratulations to you. You are the winner of our second giveaway, all right? So guys, there's still one more giveaway to go. So continue to send in your comments. There's a lot of comments tonight. I really like that. So I encourage you all to continue commenting because you could be the third and final winner of our giveaways. All right. So Kyle, we're gonna go back to you.
Hey, awesome stuff. I don't know where Onika and Ryan is. I don't know if Kerwin could hear me. I can't message you because of the phone. Could you send Nikki the video? Kerwin would like us to show a video with Dr. Fauci. Could you just send Nikki the video in the back end? So because I can't really pull it up, right? So just WhatsApp her the same video and the professor will pull it up on the stream. Somebody asks, make a point. I don't know if it's factual, but I'll still ask it based upon if anybody actually have a fact to go with it, right? They say how, I think Sarana said that there are people who they're not asking people who have the vaccine to give blood. Is that a factual thing?
Well, we just saw somebody say it on the comments that a family member needed blood and the doctor only wanted a friend. Unvaccinated blood.
Interesting.
I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything about it, but most likely, as in all the cases with the vaccine, with the turn and so on, and whatever may have you, they probably have no studies to show what a not transfusion, or if it is you're giving blood to someone else who has the vaccine, how. So they have to do different studies, I guess, to see how that would work out.
Okay, so then it still have a purpose for the unvaccinated people in the world, then.
Well, unless they could.
Wait, now the unvaccinated people saving lives.
unless they could prove otherwise. Right? So you're looking at the thing that they probably need to get studies done. In order to say, look, yes, using the transfusion method, blah, blah, whatever the case might be.
That is interesting. The unvaccinated saving lives, Mark. Could you I don't know if the professor had the video, but Anthony they will probably video if it is they do have it, right? So you could switch it over. But Anthony wanted to make a statement before we went to the comment section.
No, I just in the end, guys, is everyone has a choice. You could decide what you want to do. If it is you take any vaccine, if you're not taking the vaccine. If you take the vaccine, all good and well. If you're not taking the vaccine, all good and well the same way. But just make sure and be safe, right? In the end, it's really about it.
But what happens to the unvaccinated when they're looking for jobs? The options getting slimmer and slimmer. So it would seem like they're in a tight position.
Well, I would say this. This is not the first time you use the term that people are being pressured. But in order to fly to different countries before in the past, let's say in different countries, you have to take a yellow fever shot, or you have to. It is required. There's no choice about it. You are required to take that particular vaccine. But I believe because of the mass vaccination that has taken place, you see, the vaccination that was taking place before. Yes, in the past, probably before we were born, they would have had to do mass vaccination. But because of what's happening right now with mass vaccination, lots of social media, lots of information, I think it's causing a lot more misinformation that may be taking place. But
also to Anthony, I think the vaccine from the past actually used to work though. Like yellow fever, you wouldn't get actual yellow fever. You understand where I'm coming from, right? So it was a more acceptable thing in society. All right, I'll give you an example, right? If today, when they take the vaccine, nothing, you're not getting the virus. I don't think there's anybody who would not take the vaccine. I think most people, and I say, well, obviously that's the conspiracy people. Most people would have taken the vaccine, but really and truly now they're accepting is that most likely your mind die. That's what they're saying, right? That most likely your mind die with have stats to show that, right? But then also stats to show that there are a lot of young people or people who have no condition and they didn't die. It's mostly people who have certain conditions. That point is they end up to that
Yeah.
point, yeah, where they get sick and they die, right?
But it's like Russian roulette, right? Because at
Yeah,
this point in it, I'm sure everybody knows at least somebody who had the virus, and a lot of people know people that died from the virus, right?
yeah,
And for me also knowing someone personally, knowing that this person is up and about, young, active, and to see that person die from the virus that I know, that was shocking to me. That was
True.
yeah,
how is the virus determining that this person is of this gender, this age, this build, and kills this person from the virus, as opposed to this other person who drinks coke every day, that whatever they may be doing their lifestyle choices. So you may think, well, all right, that person is worse off and that person survived. And then you think, well, this person will be better off and that person dies. So it's like you're really playing cards with the virus, and you are there trying to say, okay, I hang your jack, right?
yeah.
You're playing a game, and if it is you're unsafe out there and you get the virus, it's really a gamble you take it. It's either
Yeah, it,
you recover or you die. There's two options,
it's at the risk on the both sides because
Well, exactly, right. But
yeah,
in terms of the virus, you're seeing, based on what they're saying, the studies on this that are skewed, you're seeing where the people that are vaccinated, yes, they can spread it, but there's they have a less chance of even dying from the virus. And that to me is a little comforting, knowing that, all right, I increase my chances of not succumbing to this virus.
well, we had to go with the stats on that, right? Because that's what they're saying. But how I look at it to Anthony Boy and Mark and I don't know where Unica is that the the reality is if you watch the ratio of the people, it had more people who get the virus. So they had a time had a pass for them to actually give that stat to say, well, a person with a heart condition didn't die. You catch where I'm coming from, right? They have to because there's a lot of people in Trinidad who had the virus but they didn't die. But it had when you break down the specifics and believe it or not, there's a lot of information that they're not giving the public to say, well, this is the stats. The people who had so, they had that's what end up, because they're not really giving that information. They're just saying who died and whatever the case may. You understand where I'm coming from, right? So my point is that there's so many people, and I give an example. The common cold, they kill a lot of people. If you go back and you watch his stats, and somebody made a question in the comment section, I think it pop up here, right? They asked like, we shouldn't be calling it a vaccine, we should call it a booster because most likely this is now part of the common cold. It means every year they would have to come out a booster because once it keep, this is what it's gonna be. Most likely every year as they keep transforming, unless it, to some point you'll have to be taking some kind of booster going along the route. So because think about it, right now you don't hear nothing but no common cold enough. Once you sick is COVID. Once it is you get a cough, you are eating, and I sure if you go in any medical place and you had a normal cold, I would like to know really if it's about heart man who could really answer that. And say if it is you go and if it is you say, nah, you just had the cold, or if it is you say COVID. I would like to really know the stats on that. But let me go to the video there at the top on the screen. You got Professor and drop the video. Anthony, I want to thank you for being on the stream. You have a good night, man.
Yeah.
Later, man.
We are seeing that the ability of individuals who are infected through breakthrough infections, namely vaccinated people who ultimately get infected, that they are generally without symptoms or minimally symptomatic. However, it is clear that they are capable of transmitting the infection to uninfected individuals. And the data that they reported indicates that if you look at the level of virus in the nasopharynx of a person who's vaccinated and has a breakthrough infection, and compare that to the level of virus in the nasopharynx of an unvaccinated person who's infected, they're essentially equivalent, which would go along and underscore the fact that vaccinated people who do have a breakthrough infection are clearly capable of transmitting the infection to an uninfected person. I would hope that given where
Hey, that was the end of, I guess, the clip. So this is one of the men who are in charge of the whole situation, and it's clear you see that if it is, it have the same strand of, because a lot of people in the comment section will say, no, it's not the case. But this is the medical man come out and say this is the case, that there are people who actually who have the same snotting, they are the same virus can pass across within if it is you're vaccinated. So it's really scary to see the time we are in where, because I'll be honest with you, all right, I have no problem if somebody taking the vaccine or not. My problem is the force and this sense of, because I have no, like Anthony, and I have no problem with both of them say to the point of we informing people, and I think they should take it. The vaccine, are they encouraging people? I see no problem in people doing that, right? They see when it is reaching the point where you're telling people you go cut the pay, you go do this, you go do this. That's our next level of manipulation that happening, and you're actually trying to force the population to really take a stance for something that they don't even fully have the answers for. Because the man clearly come out and say that any workplace, the same person who had the virus, the vaccine could spread the virus. So, like Mark, you was and Eva rightly answer that you were saying that in the workplace, the man, as somebody put in the comment section, one of the reasons he had this whole thing is because the company closed and they were quarantined. And but if somebody have the virus who actually vaccinated, is the same thing could happen because they could spread it the exact same way. So that shouldn't be the reason for the push. If it is people want to make these situations, and I'll be honest with you, all right, I don't know. I see, and this is a spiritual thing more than a natural thing. It's strange how people could come to this conclusion to have such a tyrant behavior, where it is, if you do this, and the Bible does say the love of money is the root of all evil, right? That you really do see how people see using love, they're using love to tell you that you should love everybody else. But if it is your thing, we actually forming a strong force of manipulation upon you, and you realize they are actually not moving from that loving. Because if you're really an employer, you should try to figure out and try to protect your employees to some degree by questioning them, you know what I mean, and you figure certain things out, right?
But the thing, what does make it very disruptive is like somebody, like we say, somebody in my household get COVID. I don't have it. I had a quarantine too because that's the systems in place with the government. So it's like they have the COVID, and instead of they alone being punished, I being punished too because I can't go to work and the disrupting stuff. And I think that is one of the reasons that brought that man to that point where he's so adamant. I do agree with it, but I kind of understand why he was getting on like that, because he feel like it's a threat where his business could be closed down. And part of that too is the way the system set up. If somebody is positive,
that pressure really comes from the government, because if the medical experts, and I'm telling you that is not the case, that they both vaccinated and think could spread the virus, then your pressure should not be this dictatorship. You catch where I'm coming from, right? That if it is both people spreading the virus, then because he part of the thing he said in the video, right? Everybody could, obviously we can't show the whole video, right? Because it's like over 8 minutes, right? That he party said is that they are misinformed. When you actually watch the video, it's actually him misinformed. That he not doing his medical research, and he's saying everybody on social media spreading things. No, all these press conferences actually passing on social media. So it means that you're not directing your conversation in the correct way. You know what I mean? So I personally think that that I see no problem with people if they want to take the vaccine or not. That is your personal choice. The whole point of this show is really against this sense of the people trying to force you to go against certain choices that you is a human right to actually make if it is you want to take it or not. Because if it is your boy long, you think if both of us could still get the virus, then I really put my own life at risk. You understand? Because if you do the reverse, right, Mark, then somebody who quarantine who actually have the vaccine, they should still be in quarantine too because they could still get the virus and go and spread it.
Yeah.
You catch where I'm coming from, right? So, but they're not making that argument. What the argument they're making is that it's vaccinated or not vaccinated. So it really seems like they're more uneducated in that idea. But you wanted to say something?
I just find a lot of the laws and a lot of some of it, it don't make sense, to be honest. And it's not only a pressure where the businesses putting it on people, but it comes from the policies of the government too. Like even when you're
Yeah.
stumbled the car and you with your wife all the time and you just stay going out in the road in the same car, you have to wear the mask. A lot of it don't make sense. To me, everything's set up in such a way that they're forcing you to obey the rules or there'll be consequences and it stand up have this push to where it kind of your life will be easier if you just take the vaccine. So
Yeah.
that's my observation.
You know, Nika, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to
What, what,
I wanted to disagree with Anthony on something before he left.
what's that?
He said something that basically he said one of two things would happen. We would learn to adjust to the virus, like
Mm-hmm.
as we have in the past, as we have in humanity, there have been viruses and stuff, and we've learned to adapt. Or what was his other thing? Or we would beat it, right? It would go away eventually, right? And I disagree with that. I believe so strongly that this would just variant after variant will keep coming, and the need for another vaccine and another vaccine or a booster and a booster will keep happening because the
Yeah.
variants change, um, until we get to the marketing base. And whatever the marketing base is, would be either something that would prevent mankind from ever getting maybe any virus ever again, or it could be something that is inserted on your body that tells wherever you go, the bank, the shop, wherever, for them to know that you are vaccinated, right? I'm speculating. But what I don't think is that it would go away. I just being honest. I believe that this might sound like a weird statement, but if I was Satan, this is my trial run, right? And I see how good it's going. People succumbing to the pressure, people willing to take this vaccine to save their job, and nothing is wrong with that. I'm not saying that. But you see when people the pressure is on, right? They can't imagine not having their job, so they taking it one time without any questions asked, right? Or maybe they ask questions, but they take it. So if I was Satan, I gonna push this thing, push it until I complete my agenda, which is to possess the Antichrist, and then for him to come forward and do what he has to do. So I honestly do not think that things are going to get better. I'm sorry, I'm not the bearer of such news. You asked a question about if this is going to be our life. I do believe so, yes. I don't think that things would ever get back to the normal that we knew. We may have some semblance of normalcy again, but never to the normal that we knew. And I think this is now Satan gonna keep pushing the envelope further and further and further until the Antichrist come with his solution. Because one more lockdown, I don't know if the economies of the world can withstand one more lockdown, right? And so if there's a lockdown, and just today there was another report I saw where a reporter asked somebody in the White House doing an interview if they see another lockdown coming, and she said, well, if, depending on what the Delta variant does, I can't say no, I can't say yes. If it requires that, well, yes, right? I don't know if the world could withstand another one or two. And so I believe that I think we're on the road now to the end. I don't see us coming back out of it totally. That's what I believe.
I 100% agree with Onika. You know that from since the start of this, my thing was that before even any facts, I believe it was man-made. I believe that we were tested before with different strands. You can remember they had different outbreaks, and then boom, all of a sudden now, remember it had different places, different things was being contracted in different Ebola, and all of us, remember it come from the same strand, right? And now all of a sudden now there's a new form of it that is affecting mankind in a bigger way. That's how I remember from, right? That it didn't spread the way it did spread last time. But now they found a way to spread throughout the entire world, because the Bible is clear on one thing. The way Babylon is going to fall is through plagues. And it's true different things is going to happen. And I think we are actually witnessing that before our face that certain things are happening,
All of
and
Babylon.
we are actually see. So we were talking in our chat earlier, myself and Cohen. I tell them I switch from watching vaccine, and yes, I'm still doing that, right? My eyes now switch to seeing who is this Antichrist going to appear.
The Antichrist, yes.
I start watching. I watching
Yes.
people. I watching
Yes.
certain presidents, different places. So I want to see
Yes.
the response in this because I want you all to know what is happening. The world is reaching to a point where they need some form of a savior. And then they need somebody to step in to bring peace because what we're seeing happening, while there are riots happening in the Caribbean, there are different places in France, riots happening, and people are not taking this for just normal. You understand? They're not just accepting this as a normal thing. And so, as much as the world trying to say, well, this is how the norm should be, there are people who are rightfully saying, I don't maybe agree with violence, obviously, there are, that form, right? Because, one of the strange things I noticed you read the book of Revelations, and one of the things the Bible says, when things did happen, the Bible says that they didn't repent of their sins or their wickedness. I seen that there's a wickedness happening. And it seems like the vaccinated and the unvaccinated, that people, there's this form of a clash between them. You catch where I'm coming from, right? Which, I mean, I cool with if it is you take the vaccine, but if it is I don't take it, if I unvaccinated, you have this big threat over my life that you feel like I'm going to kill you, which it is you should feel safe to. That is where I'm coming from, right? You should feel safe around me. Because I should be worried constantly. I suppose to be one worrying constantly if it is again when I get sick and dead or whatever, because I don't have I'm not vaccinated. So, but you're seeing it forming in humanity where they could look at people and have this wickedness in them, and they don't care if it is you lost your job, you do this, you do that, they have it forms such a thing, a strain in people's hearts where they don't really care, where owners, they do business, they do think that, and you're realizing that they come into a place where they could see where the Bible say they repent of their sin, because most people think the sin is that they're doing some kind of weird, it's wickedness upon man, where it is you realize now they take away your simple thing as a right. Because I want you all to know that is what Satan is, that is his role in the end time, to force people, and that's what the mark of the beast come down to, where it forces you to a position where it is you can't buy, you can't sell, you can't trade without taking this mark. And that is where I want you also to know the direction we're heading, where it is actually trying to force you from having a choice. And if it is you do question the establishment, or you do question the opinion, you are now looking like the person with the problem. And we start showing something different. So you realize the arguments, like simple arguments, like I made there just now, right? With the if both people have spreading the virus and the natural way the virus spreading, right? Because most people who get the COVID, they would, if they was to do a tracing, right? They would never say, well, I was around somebody who was coughing and sick, and no, they just naturally something happened, they interact with somebody and they get. So if it is both people can still spread it, right? Then how it is, because most people say, well, they don't have symptoms. No, that's not how it actually started spread throughout the whole nation. It's just through natural, maybe contact, different things, they interact with people. And if both people could do the exact same thing, what is this big fuss about? So you realize the argument is switching. They are trying to force a mandate on people where it is they're making you feel like if it is you don't take it, something wrong with you. And you are the problem, and it's carrying people in that direction in their heart mentally, where they're actually breaking on people and they are looking in certain situations. So I want to encourage everybody, if it is you are vaccinated, big up your whole self. Don't try and you should feel, Mark, you feel safe asking.
Honestly,
you feel safe interacting with people who have the vaccine or not, or you still worried?
I always was normal. I never had any fear for this virus, to be honest.
Well, I'm not vaccinated. So
yeah. No fear whatsoever.
Actually, when a friend of mine asked if I took the vaccine, and I told him no. And then he asked me if Mark took the vaccine, and I was like, yes. And he was like, how does he feel about it, about me not being vaccinated? I'm like, why would he feel anyway about it? Like, both of us, he probably actually no, considering our jobs. I was gonna say he probably I'm probably more at risk because of the type of work he will be doing, considering because vaccine not stopping you from getting COVID. And something I actually wanted to mention earlier about the whole manipulation and stuff like that. The organization that I work for, they proposed, nothing is set in stone again, but one of the proposals is that they will give incentives to persons who are vaccinated.
Right.
What else did it halfway? And they spoke about sick leaves and those type of things outside of the free PCR testing that they possibly revoking. They spoke about sick leave and all these different things. So I personally am just kind of waiting to see what is the final say on those things. Let's see where it goes.
Didn't read through her thing, but I think Kyle, what you were saying,
You won't be able to read through it. That's
it on Facebook.
all right.
Yeah, a certain guy that used to be commenting on this show. Anyhow, let me just say, I will sell it out. Somebody leaked the documents. Yeah, the private documents.
But it would take Mark to find it there.
Right.
I'll talk to you about that.
Actually, all over. People actually messaged me. The same friend of mine, he actually sent it to me and he asked if that really is an official document.
Yeah, the person who leaked it is a guy that anyhow. I can't. Let me just say, I will sell it out.
He didn't leak it.
Anyhow,
He's not a part of the organization. We actually searched him when I saw it.
You all know him most likely. But anyhow, my faith concerning the virus always was in Christ and in God. I was a little worried taking the vaccine, to be honest with you. But I plead and I say, God, Jesus, I doing this with you, and I just if it have any ill effects, this vaccine that gonna have any ill effect on me, Jesus, I just declare in faith your promises over my life. You call me to do certain things, and I standing on that. So I even as me being a believer all these years, there was an element of concern with me, honestly, taking the vaccine. But I would just say, you had to stand on God's word now more than ever. And I think what Kyle was saying, and Onika, this really could be the road to the end, because you look at the common cold, we never had a proper cure for it, and the COVID virus is like a family to that. And Kyle was talking about that it was said there is pestilences that brought down Babylon, and we first had SARS, then we had Ebola, and that kind of came under control, and now we have the COVID, and we have the Delta, which came out of India, and they say it's like 40 to 60 times more infectious. I guess you could do your research on it. And who used to say that we don't keep getting new variants. So it's really a time now for repentance. I think that is honestly a great thing, because we're all talking about the vaccine and different things. But if you look at the Bible, when men were going through famines and different things, they would generally turn to God. I'm not saying that this virus came from God. It didn't. It's a man-made thing. But this is something that when it come through man and the enemy. But I would say it's a time too for we to really look to God and really turn from our wickedness. And even with the virus, you could still be in a place where you're not trusting in God, or you're scared, or the enemy use it to shake you. So I would say we need to really, I take it as a word for me too. I turn in my eyes on God now more than ever.
Yeah, because Jesus' command in these days is actually we watch and pray. I mean, he actually told us to watch and pray. It means that we ask most people, so that's why you don't just conclude things like the virus that is the end of it. You don't conclude that, because you have to watch and see what is happening. Because if they clearly say that this is a strand from these same things, and then when you hear the medical person come out and say most likely it come from a lab, and most likely it's designed to attack people in a specific way, right? They realize that there's a bigger plan happening in the face of the earth. And while people are arguing about the vaccinated and unvaccinated, people have to stand back and watch what is actually happening in the hearts of men and in society, because there's a force coming on the face of the earth, or I should say is here, right? And it is trying to deceive many. And people must understand Satan been working on a plan for a long time. This is not just, is a deception coming that is going to really disturb up men's heart, and you realize how wicked, you realize how people could turn on humanity, on our next brother so easy. That, because think about it, right? Remember I mentioned this earlier sometime when we had a real talk, that I could see how in your own family, it could turn, but the Bible says mother, father, all kind of different and be against each other for my name's sake. I could see how it is families could turn against people for certain beliefs they have, and I can see how it is you could get put out your house, because they would use that thing where they're saying, well, you are threatening your mother and your this. Yeah.
I know someone got put out whose parents asked them to move out because they're not taking the vaccine. True story. Here in Trinidad. Everybody
Oh,
else took it and they didn't want to take it, and their parents asked if they could move, if the person could move out.
wow.
Honestly,
Yeah.
even in my family, we have opposing views on the taking the vaccine or not. And I know there's many families torn apart or in conflict because of the
Yeah.
vaccine with different views.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
But the amazing thing about that, to tell you how it's a spirit, right? When none of them were vaccinated, all of them was living in the house together. When everybody was a risk to everybody, when everybody
right.
could have come home from work and nobody was vaccinated for a whole year and a half, they lived together. And now all of a sudden, it's a big risk because one person in the house not vaccinated, and that's not making any sense. For a whole
Yeah.
year and a half, it was, nobody was vaccinated, and everybody living happy in the house. you know,
Yeah.
so it's a serious thing.
Because the spirit has been working for a while and they realize and manifesting more because when you read the book of Revelations, imagine that there would be two prophets who would be doing signs, who would be preaching the gospel and they would die and they would come back to life and people would still hate them. And what you have to know is I hate when people heart against righteousness that's happening on the face of the earth, And righteousness is linked to actually your freedom. All those different things is linked to making choices. And I want you to know that you are seeing it happening before your very face, where the heart of men is going in a direction. Where it is, imagine that the mark of the beast would happen one day, and there will be people who will be betraying people. Because I want you to know you can't buy, you can't sell, and what would happen at that point in time? People will be beheaded again. There will certain things that will be happening, and you would start back and you realize because of a mark, how that started because of a simple thing of the things that happening right now in the face of the earth. You're realizing certain things happening where men's heart are beginning to feel them. We can remember Jesus say, and if it is, he didn't shorten the length of time. Even the very elect might not be get saved because of the pressure, the force, because of the deception that's happening on the face of the earth. People might have be just giving in certain decisions in their life. They reach a point in life where it could have seemed so hopeless. And that's what Satan is actually going to bring. He's going to bring a form of hopelessness right now on the face of the earth, where it seemed like there's no hope for just the ordinary person. But I think that is it for the time. I think I will just like to clear up on the show. We are not against people who get vaccine. We if it is the vaccine you do your research and you could take a vaccine, we don't believe it's the mark of the beast. And I want to let you all know you can go ahead and take your vaccine. Mark vaccinated. They see his wife is not vaccinated. You could go ahead and do your thing. What we are basically saying is that you and nobody should try to impose or force anybody when it comes to this choice, because this is not somebody Angel made a good point that they forcing people to to pro-choice and different things like that, right? But all of a sudden now then you can't make a choice no more, right? And you're realizing now why that is a big thing, that everybody should have the choice, and it's not a bad choice, because if both people could still get the virus, I can understand why it is trying to fight down people to that degree, right? So I just want to let you all know that the big point of the show, the big point you take away is not if it is a person should or shouldn't get the vaccine, is the force and the manipulation happening. It is not acceptable upon the face of the earth in Trinidad. I personally believe somebody made a good point before that we should have stand up when it is the government that say you can't be driving in your car. I think the whole of Trinidad should have stand up and not take that abuse. You know what I mean? That should not happen. Because I know many business owners who have the opposing view to what the government is doing, that they're saying that they should not lock down when it is the lockdown, because it didn't stop. You know what I mean? Businesses could have still do certain things that are happening, like the food industry, certain things could have still flourish. That's because you're watching America, different places. They have examples where the government open, and even though they get hit hard, the economy still stood. You know what I mean? They still did certain things to prevent it, because at the most they could have done, right? So, but I encourage everybody who here to do your proper research. If it is you want to take a vaccine, you feel free. It is not the mark of the beast. We don't believe so. But be careful. Watch and see what it is happening in the face of it. If you are not a believer, I encourage you to go and read the book of Daniel and to read the book of Revelation. Even if you are a believer or unbeliever, that is where you need to really study. Not necessarily just alone all the education of the vaccine. And you really need to watch what is happening in the face of it and pay attention to what's really going on. I don't know if Onika or Mark want to share views, and Eva, we'll go to you and you wrap it up. So you go ahead, Mark and Eva, if anything else you want to
Um,
share.
I just want to say two things. One thing I want to put to Mark. Mark, do you feel to change your name at this time?
Oh, not me
All this
alone,
talk about the mark of the beast and the mark,
because
the
it's my name and Jesus' name getting called up as the Antichrist and two away.
no. I just wanna make sure that people know, and somebody might be watching this stream for the first time or not too familiar with us, that our reasons for having the show has nothing to do with any religious reason behind not taking the mark. There are all kind of conspiracy theories out there about it changing your DNA and it have spyware in it and software that could track you and all this kind of thing. We not about that, them conspiracy theories. Those things make for a good movie. That's not what we for, right? We just talking about the choice here, the back to the corner, and the spirit behind what is happening in the world today, not the vaccine itself. And we don't believe all that we call it garbage, right? If they want
Yeah.
to track you, you have a cell phone. Come now. Yes,
They're
go everywhere
tracking
with
they're
your cell
tracking you
phone.
all now. Yeah.
Right. They don't need to. You
It's
don't need to take
true.
a vaccine for them to track you, right? So
Hmm.
yeah, so we are not about that. We're just talking about the fact that you're being forced to do it, you're taking away your choice. And also, I really, really want every believer not to be, you shouldn't be sleeping at this time. Now is not the time to be in a slumber and just to be thinking, well, yeah, okay, vaccine, you don't die with vaccine, I take vaccine. There's a higher thing at play here. There are higher forces here. There's something much bigger at play in the spiritual realm than what we see in the natural. And so please open your eyes. And as Mark said too, now is a time to repent for those who do not believe. Now is a time to repent, to look at the information. If you've never read the Bible, I would encourage you to read the Bible and see what the similarities of what is happening now to what was written in the Bible 2,000 years ago. And maybe that might open your eyes and you'll be like, wait, now these smart people, like they're not mad after all. For the non-believers, think it's just old talk we talking, when it comes to the Bible and the end times. And yeah, and so that's it. And everybody, you make your choice. And don't let nobody, don't let no, another thing too, I don't know why people feel they have to hide when they get the vaccine or when they don't have it. Like, it's like, you take the vaccine, I know. Why? Like, what's the big deal? You know what I mean? You take the vaccine, you take the vaccine, you ain't take the vaccine, you ain't take the vaccine. What's the big secret? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's remove all that crap and all that nonsense and the division and stuff, and let's look at the bigger picture and stop the little bickering, the little crap, even the little stupid bickering about the vaccine and whatever. That is distracting and all from what is at play, really. The spiritual aspect of what is happening. So even all that little vaccine, I see people talking about the vaccine all the time. Forget that. They have a big thing brewing in the spirit, and we need to be aware and awake and alert and know what is happening, at this time. Yeah.
What is
So
that,
that's
Mark?
it.
Well, I was just thinking, this, it's just unfortunate. Everything that happening with this virus, it really, I would say, is something of the enemy. You think of the people that suffering financially, even the lives that lost. I personally know people, who died from getting COVID and thing, and also it's a sad situation. And then you look at even the church. I mean, we could still have church online and thing, but unfortunate that this situation where it literally was mandated by law that the church can operate in the way that usually would. I'm not saying that God necessarily hindered, but it have certain things that that we would enjoy that we can't anymore. And um I think that's sad where the church literally closed in a sense, like physically. I
Well, Mark,
Go
don't
ahead.
mean to cut you, right? But to add to your point, right? You could actually see the words that come out that was actually an attack against the church. You know what I mean? That sorry to say, the PM say that you know you can't basically you can't pray to God for answer. Basically like that
Yeah.
in such words, right? And there was an attack against the church. So it's actually not something normal.
Well,
And people must be able to witness and notice certain things because it's one thing for the church to be closed. There's one thing now to attack the church and make it seem like God is not relevant in all of this happening here right now. That is two different scenarios happening because you can see naturally why something happened, but then you treat it like God is irrelevant. That's a big issue. Both of them, you understand where I'm coming from, right?
Yeah.
So you realize that there's a spiritual element that is worse behind it. But you
Actually,
good.
it's funny, right? A funny story I'm gonna share. I have a particular guy I see him ever so often will interact around my neighborhood. I always believe he was demon possessed, actually spiritually affected. So I actually talked to him and asked him what is his name, and he said many and different things that I won't get into. And he said, I want to tell you a funny thing about the COVID. He said all this thing was happening right now. I believe it's a demonic spirit was talking, right? He says the church, and this is before it really gets serious, right? And he said, mark my words, watch and you go see, this is what the enemy going to do. All this is shut down the church, and the church actually did shut down, boy. And actually, days after, the man was trying to figure out where I live, and he was outside my house and thing and hiding because I don't know where I actually living. It's a weird story, but the man actually tell me that, and it was weird. But I feel in it too, the enemy wants to, the Bible says the devil come to steal, kill, and destroy, and we could see some of those symptoms from the virus where it's stealing people peace, the joy, your finances, everything like that. And now it's really a time to get into the kingdom of God. Because I would say for me myself, I was affected, but God provided, right? And now is that time really for God to be a source. And that's something I was telling Ava too. We were in situations where we needed God to come through. And we really trusted when they didn't seem to have any way in the natural, God came through for us. So I just saying for everybody who watching this stream and in a situation where you in a position where you have needs, God is it's times like these when you need a God in situations where things are bigger than you. Listen, now is that time to put your faith in God and not just get distracted and just live life anyhow and listen to what's going on. Yes, it's cool to be informed, but listen, you have God backing you in this time, and especially for your health. If you're scared about being sick or anything with the COVID, listen, you have a promise from Jesus that by his stripes we are healed, and we have that as a promise that that work is finished on the cross. So I just want to say that in the midst of everything, Jesus is our peace. Yes, I just want to share that.
Amen.
Yeah, you got it, Eva. So you're tired, everybody. Good night, and it
Yeah.
was an awesome time being on the stream with you guys. And yeah, you
Yeah.
all have a blessed night.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, good night.
All right, so I am going to do my final giveaway, guys. I will just read just a few comments. I won't be able to read all because there's a lot, but thanks for all of your comments. So let me start with Ishikai Collins. And the last day is there are pestilences, diseases with no cure. Vaccine is not a cure. It simply helps build your immune system to help resist the sickness. Let's see. Danielle, well, this is a lot earlier on. It's general practice to not take the blood from people who had any vaccine recently. Jezreel Justice Jones, doctor who only wanted unvaccinated blood. That's hearsay. Perhaps you all can research or contact a medical personnel. That information was never confirmed. Let's see, Kavi Mirage. Another good question is how long does immunity, although people are still getting COVID after being vaccinated? So can we call this immunity from the vaccine last 3 months, 6 months? I know it's not so long. I know it's not lifelong immunity. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, well, all right, but if you got COVID, why are they insisting that you take the vaccine? Why aren't we focusing on treatments and building the immune system? Sarana Johnson, I think this is more about our immune system. I say this because I see the vagrants not being affected. But on a real though, I think everyone should boost their immune system, spray and cover yourself in the blood of Jesus. Just my opinion. Jezreel says immunity does not mean I will never get said virus. Let me see. Akila Valentine, there have been several medical studies that show the viral load is only similar in the Delta variant. The general strand has a lower viral load. Studies done in Israel, the US, Spain, the UK. Jezreel says, of course, they're still capable of transmission because the virus will still exist. This is why we all need to be on the same level. So if I do spread it as a vaccinated person, it would it might be to another vaccinated person, like the common cold. Karen, oh, this is in response to something that you were saying. So let me go lower down just to get the more recent comments. Happy Mirage, it's really disheartening to see that people are being alienated for choosing to remain unvaccinated or at least for waiting until proper research is conducted. It's causing such an unnecessary divide among our society. And that's the last thing we need right now. Arguments on both sides of the fence are pertinent, but respect should be kept. Ishipai Collins, businesses will shut down whether workers are vaccinated or not. Vaccine more helps the individual more than the business. Risa Mark, that's a real issue, Mark. There's a lot of discourse even between family members, marriage, co-workers, etc. Be conscious of this fact and not allow the spirit behind this issue to cause strife, division between your spouse or family. Let's see. Jezreel says variants appear where the virus mutates. How does it mutate? When a large portion of a population is untreated, a greater portion of a country being treated sniffles the virus from mutating. Tamika Spring, I don't think things are going to go back to any kind of normal that we knew. I see the fall of the world economic system and then Antichrist system to follow. The Lord alone knows where the rapture falls in the timeline. Crystal, go and effects on borders too. New Zealand has closed their borders until 2022, with a cautious reopening in the new year. Let me see. I'll just do about 3 more comments and then we'll close off. Risa says, yes, Kyle, that's where they'll be deceived. They're looking for a hero or savior, a way out of this crisis. Stay woke there. Jezreel says, from an economic point of view, an unvaccinated person is a threat to a vaccinated. The longer a country's population achieves immunity, the longer industries remain crippled. Crippled industries pose a high risk of inflation, etc. Inflation may lead to social unrest. # Venezuela. So this will most likely be my last comment for tonight. Kerwin Narayan says the Bible says the second beast was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast, so that the image could speak and cause all who refuse to worship the image to be killed. It also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hands or on their foreheads, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or under the name of its name. All right. There's a lot more comments, guys. I'm so sorry I couldn't get into all of them, but
I think he was highlighting the word force, Eva.
Yeah.
From the quote.
Now, that's how it force everyone, rich, poor, to take the mark.
Let me see. So I will do my final. Unfortunately, guys, I can't read all the comments like I mentioned, but my final giveaway will go to Jezreel Justice Jones.
Hey.
Good night to you. I think this is the first time I'm seeing your name here as well. I'm trying to do some giveaways to first timers. So if this is your first time viewing, welcome to the Real Talk Show. We appreciate all of your input, all of your comments, and to everyone else as well. We really appreciate all of your comments. And we will be back here, guys, not the next Saturday, but the following Saturday at 7:30 p.m. So to all of you who joined us tonight, be sure to join us again. We love having you. We love reading your comments. We love communicating with all of you, all right? So, guys.
And all are welcome, vaccinated and unvaccinated.
True. Good point, Mark. So, guys, thanks again for spending your Saturday evening with us. It was lovely indeed. I hope that the show blessed you or helped you in some way with regards to the whole manipulation and so on, and probably provided some sort of clarity and cleared up some concerns. So, guys, enjoy the rest of your night. Sorry, Jezreel. I should have mentioned what I mentioned earlier, but you probably tuned in later on. The prices are Amazon vouchers, so please inbox us your email address so that we can send that to you. And very quickly before I go again, guys, I just want to remind any of you who did not hear earlier on, I want to encourage you all to contact Megamark Computer Services. His number is 733-6157 or 330-8791 for all of your computer servicing needs. Especially for those of you who are going back out to school and so on, you may in need of desktops or laptops or even repairs on any of the two items. Be sure to contact Megamark Computer Services, all right? And one of the benefits of Megamark is he comes to you, okay? So you don't have to figure out how to get to him, how to get your device to him, all right? So be sure to contact him. You can check out his website as well at megamarkcomputerservices.com. Enjoy the rest of your night, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay blessed to all of you, and we will see you at the next show. Bye, everyone.
Take care.